haters, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks. How's it going? Welcome back to the program. I'm going to do a quick sound check. How's it going? Welcome back to the program. I'm going to do a quick sound check. How's it going? Welcome back to the program. I'm going to do a quick sound check. Doesn't sound ideal. Let's try this again. Okay, let's see how that sounds now. Okay, let's see how that sounds now. Sounds a lot better to me. Brett Sessoms with a super chat right out of the gate on the last day of the month, the last day to accrue super chats for October. Thank you for that, Brett. Thoughts on Mark Milley? He seemed a little Marxist. Yeah, I know. A lot of people who are retired do not have a very high opinion of General Milley. I would be one of them. It stems from a lot of things, but mostly it stemmed from his apology for apologizing for wearing his uniform, which he was required to wear, acting as if it was inappropriate for a general to be wearing his fatigues when that's the daily uniform at the Pentagon after he walked down the streets of D.C. Now, there's many other things with General Milley. Whatever. I'm not going to get into talking about him personally, but his conduct is something that raises a lot of eyebrows and a lot of questions. So there you go. Pablo Charlie, I've seen no reporting on the elections in Botswana. I looked this morning. I've been doing an interview with Brickmack. I just finished that. So let me go to Twitter and see if there's anything on it. I've seen nothing on the reporting. I'd be happy days if that was the case. Let's see. There's nothing in the news, so maybe Twitter has it. No. I don't see anything. Let's try Botswana election. Okay, here we go. No. I see nothing on the results. So I'm not sure where you're getting from. Is that wishful thinking or hopeful? I don't see anything. I don't know where we can get results out of Botswana, but hopefully it's soon. Anyway, yeah. So, Brett, thank you for the super chat. And, so happy to answer that question, Pablo Charlie. Let me say hello to everybody in the chat. I just apologize for about being 3 minutes tardy, but I was in an interview with Brickmack. We were talking about the border nation around the world. So that was an interesting conversation. I'm not sure when he'll publish that. Oh, another super chat coming in from Brett. Brett says, Italy in World War I, they had a dictatorial government, but it seems like the way they were taken for granted in the Triple Alliance. Austria refused to compensate Italy in 1908 with the invasion of Bosnia. I'm not sure where you're going with that, Brett, but thank you for the $10 super chat. Let me see. Let me read it over here a little bit better. Yeah, well, they were traitors. They betrayed the Triple Entente. They just left. They abandoned them. They attacked Austria-Hungary because they were greedy for territory, and it worked. It worked. By switching in the middle of the war to the Allies' side, they were illegitimately granted the province of South Tyrol, Alta Adige, and it now is part of Italy. It's the most prosperous part of Italy with the lowest inflation, with the highest GDP per capita, and the best part of Italy is the German part of Italy. I know. I've been there hundreds of times. I used to go there every weekend when I lived in Italy, almost every weekend. Yeah. So. Yeah, no, the Italians were brilliant. They cheated and they betrayed their side. And the carnage in the Alps, the Southern Alps, in the Dolomites was unbelievable. I've taken my soldiers to the battlefields in the region down near what's the cheese that's famous there for? I can't think of it right now, but in that region of the Dolomites, and unbelievable. Asiago, near Asiago. It's horrific. Bodies still being uncovered a century later when farmers digging through fields. It's pretty crazy. There's a British Commonwealth cemetery located there. Took them there to see that, and we went up there and did a non-commissioned officer professional development. But we took the whole unit up there. It was pretty cool. Rob Harsoff is a man of common sense. I think Rob Harsoff is a bit naive when it comes to politics, and just because he's a billionaire doesn't mean he has all the answers. Right. Bystander says, censorship is crazy. Even in live streams, the viewer cannot see certain chat comments and the streamer cannot see certain chat comments. It does happen, Bystander. YouTube's censorship platform has AI that removes comments, and they used to have people that did it. And so I remember YouTube is owned by Alphabet, Google. And I remember when we were getting censored heavily on the original channel and then this channel, there would be a thing that come in, it's a removed by Google moderator. Why is a Google moderator watching my channel? And why are they removing comments? There was no offense. They just didn't like what they had to say. Brett with another one. Hang on with the super chat, Brett. I'll get to it in a second. So Charmaine is here. Pablo Charlie, Vilma Rasmus, Kristen, Teresa, Monterey Sieberts, Gus. I'm going to try to say Gus's name for once. Styliadis. Gus Styliadis. It looks Greek to me. Val Cooper is here. Brian Lawrence and Allen says, thank goodness for the mute button. I take it he doesn't like Giselle. That's a shame. She's a lovely lady. And she's on the comeback trail after her cancer scare. Garrett Gillich is here. Brian Lawrence and Hakan Engman in from the Netherlands. Erica is here. I think there's Erica. Brett Sessoms with his first super chat. Sue Walsh. Shawnee. Hey, Shawnee. How you doing? Good to have Americans in the audience, too. Masisi no longer present. I do not know Pablo Charlie. I hope that's the case. Saw a video of Trump driving a garbage truck. Yes, Erica, we're going to talk about that. It's barely covered by the media. Barely talked about. It was so funny. Donald Trump trolling the Harris campaign with the garbage truck. It was so fantastic to see. Excuse me. Light Rain is here. I'm sure Light Rain saw that video. Yeah, he was in the passenger seat. That's correct, but it's really not the point. Anyway, so the first super chat from Brett. Here's the second super chat. Adolf was a socialist. Okay. All right. So I'm not sure about the turncoat analysis. Austria did not consult Italy after the Archduke assassination. They did not offer Italy any territory for Italy to fight alongside Austria. Why should Austria offer Italy territory? For what? Why should they give up territory? That's insane. That doesn't make any sense. The Italians did fight on the side of the Austrians initially. They invaded southwestern France, and I've been in my most recent trip to France. I went up in the mountains where these idiots invaded. I mean, it's just like the least favorable terrain. It's just dumb as a box of rocks. I mean, they'd have been better off putting their guys on boats and sailing to Marseille and invading from there, not going through the mountains of southwestern France. I mean, it's insane. But the French built all kind of fortifications there to ensure that they would never be attacked. It was interesting seeing World War I battlefields and towns that were affected by this, and the big forts that were built there. One of the forts I was going to visit, but it was closed. I couldn't get into it. It's a shame. They have these big redoubts that built in the side of mountains, big cannon bastions to put these big cannons in to fire back at the people that were coming. So, yeah, the Italians failed miserably. So, Ellen says she's a lovely lady. She is. Chantel Boyson is here. Welcome to you. And give it to us straight, Colonel. Will Trump win? Yes, he'll win. I think you said that on my radio show, but I mean, yeah, Trump's going to win. Electoral landslide, possibly a popular vote landslide. But are we being punked? I'd like to do a video, probably put on the other channel, about are we being punked by the media and social media? Are we being led to believe that Trump is going to win over a resounding victory? Last night I listened to Tyrus on Gutfield because I was bored, and Tyrus like, this isn't even close. Trump is going to wipe the floor with her. Well, I hope so, and everything indicates that should be the case, but the polls don't say that. So who knows what's going on? Damn, you spell check and my slippery fingers. Okay. Italian army war was underpaid, overworked, and the government did not help Italian POWs. All left the POWs to rot. So not defending Condoma or Solidarity, the soldiers fought bravely. I would argue that there's some truth to what you're saying, but it's not entirely accurate. The Italians were nearly completely overrun the First World War as the Austrians poured down into the plains east of Vicenza. They crossed the river, or what's that river? The river down there, Riveto River. Yeah, no. Of course they're underpaid. They were conscripts and overworked. Yeah, they were put in combat constantly. But all militaries were like that. And their government never did anything for them, but that's just the history of the Italian military. Can't properly point out how bad I'm typing. Well, I can read it. Trump is brilliant, taking Biden's garbage speech. Yep. Gus says, my essential tremors made me incorrectly type as, what's everybody's having trouble with typing? Light Rain says he's a great showman. The Harris campaign is so desperate, not even funny. It is true, Brett, and thank you for the 3 super chats. That's awesome. That's really kind of you. I do appreciate it. Or was it 4 maybe? Thank you for the super chats. Thank you to 73 people currently here and 31. For those of you who've been asking me for a long time to do something with Brick America, I've done it. We've just had a conversation for an hour and a half, which is why I was 3 minutes late for this broadcast. He had connectivity issues, and we didn't start on time. We're supposed to start at 10 o'clock my time, which meant we would have finished 11:30 and given me time to prep for this. But I did prep for this earlier in the morning, so I do have the news. I just don't have anything happen in the last 2 hours. So hopefully nothing news-wise has broken out last 2 hours that you want to hear about. But thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it, folks. Once again, let's take a look at the early voting and see what the turnout is thus far around the country here in the United States as we approach our election next Tuesday, where all stations are set for go. Countdown to T-minus 6 and counting. And we are ready to launch the election on Election Day, November 5th, Tuesday, coming up. And I'm ready for that as well. Already coordinated with all my volunteers. We're set to go. We should be in good shape for the election. I pick up my bag tomorrow or Friday. What's today? Yeah, tomorrow, Friday. Yeah. Doesn't matter. It's about winning. Yep. It is about winning. All right, let's get to this very quickly. So this is the percentage of early voting as of last night. It hasn't been updated today. Louisiana has now seen 98% of the early voting from 2020 has already been turned in. 960,000 plus ballots. That means they've essentially matched their early voting. Anything beyond this would be beyond what 2020 was. Florida is at 64%. Georgia at 81.5% of the 3.3 million early ballots that took place in 2020. South Carolina is 81% as well. Tennessee at 82%, and they are the peak, although Connecticut has 80%. That's also high. Michigan is 67%. Texas at 70%. Arkansas at 62%. Virginia at 64%. West Virginia at 52%. Pennsylvania at 60% of the early votes. Pennsylvania had 1.6 million early votes last time. It looks like we're not going to match it this time, despite the talk that there's been a lot of turnout in early voting. Ballots coming in Pennsylvania, it's nowhere near what it was. We have 6 days left, and we're only at 60%. So I'm going to talk today about the scam that's going on with the legacy media and how they're lying about this election. I'll probably get censored on YouTube at some point, get strikes, but I'm not going to shy from telling the truth. None of this is hyperbole. None of this is a conspiracy theory. None of this is just wild accusations, unfounded accusations, which the media claim are happening. From me, it's nothing but the facts. I've been quite clear about what's happened with voter registration fraud in Lancaster County and now in York County, and I've also pointed out what could likely be the cause of it, and it's probably not an effort to vote illegally, but rather to scam money from the people that are paying canvassers to do it. Anyway, African Idiot likes a shirt. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you like it. Underneath, I've got the Penguin Colony, Boulder's Penguin Colony t-shirt underneath, so it's all South African. What are the chances the Dems pulling off fraudulent? Well, Alan, it's looking more and more likely that could be the case. Of course, the media are saying that that's just conservatives, conspiracy theorists, making a claim for when Trump loses the election. Well, take it whatever you want, but there is all kinds of stuff and shenanigans going on. I've reported some of them. Please go to my original channel at Real Chris Wyatt. If Ahmad could put the link up for those of you who are not subscribers, I think everyone here probably is a subscriber, go subscribe to that channel, and you can look at the videos I've done talking about what's going on in Pennsylvania, what's going on in Washington and Oregon states. And there's even more going on in Pennsylvania. I did report on initially this was people being turned away from early voting. Now, the Washington Post lies and says there's no early voting in Pennsylvania. I'm going to get to that. That's simply a lie. It may not be called early voting, but in essence, in practicality, in reality, it is early voting. We're going to talk about that. So the Government of National Unity, Helen Zille, is joining senior party leaders to iron out the basic education amendment law within 3 months. DA strongwoman Helen Zille is part of a small group of multi-party leaders who have been tasked with resolving differences around the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act. The Government of National Unity Clearinghouse mechanism met on Wednesday to discuss the issue of the act, which has 2 clauses that have been the center of concern by some members of the Government of National Unity. Well, a statement from Deputy President Paul Mashatili's office said, after an extensive engagement, the clearinghouse mechanism agreed on the establishment of a small team to work on the concerns as raised by some parties. The team consists of Deputy Minister Andres Nell, Dr. Cornelius Mulder of the Freedom Front Plus, Brett Herron from the Good Party, Helen Zille from the DA, and Mudisimi Ntuli from the ANC. They're given 2 weeks to work and report on the clearinghouse mechanism. Well, given that all the parties except the Good Party and the ANC are from parties that oppose it, we'll see what they come up with. But they should come up with something which will probably be rejected by the ANC and say, look, we made a good faith effort. You need to stop whining about Harris campaign and start winning. That's what it's all about, winning, winning, winning. I'm not whining about the Harris campaign. You're the one that brought it up, not me. I'm talking about winning. Donald Trump is going to win. Yet another Metro shakeup, this one in Nelson Mandela Bay, where the mayor and deputy mayor swap positions. How is that even legal? Don't they have to be voted on? Anyway, Gary Newkirk is out as mayor and now in his deputy mayor. By the way, he might be out as mayor because that asinine haircut he's sporting. Look at that ridiculous fro he's got going on there. Wow. The Nelson Mandela Bay Metropolitan Municipality's Mayor Gary Van Niekerk and Deputy Mayor Babalawa Lobisha resigned from their positions effective today. Lobisha, who served as the ANC regional chairperson, was then selected as executive mayor during a council meeting currently underway. Okay, so that she was voted on. The National Alliance President Van Niekerk, who occupied the seat of the Metro's first citizen for a year and a half after unseating Retief Odendaal, will now be the city's deputy mayor, with the two ultimately swapping roles. Wow. The Metro is home to 1.2 million people and contributes 2.63% of GDP in South Africa. In other words, it's insignificant. During the past year and a half, the ANC has been a coalition in Nelson Mandela Bay with the EFF, Patriotic Alliance, the African Independent Congress, Pan-African Congress, National Alliance, and Defenders of the People, together with 65 seats in council. In 1861. Yep, so they are now in charge. Yep, well, there you go. Nothing bad going to happen there. Well, Jacob Zuma, for a man who's created his own political party and has threatened his old political party, seems awfully obsessed with the African National Congress. He is appealing to rejoin the ANC. And today, the ANC had a hearing on it. Don't know the outcome of that. It wasn't reported as of 2 hours ago, but it should be finished by now. Maybe they haven't made their decision. Former ANC President Jacob Zuma on Friday will fight for his reinstatement as an ANC member after his expulsion in July. The Jacob Zuma Foundation said yesterday that his hearing by the ANC's National Disciplinary Committee will be held virtually. Zuma wanted a physical meeting. He has instructed his representative, Tony Yangani, another criminal, that the first order of business must be his application for a physical and public appeal process and a few other preliminary objections which need to be decided before the appeal on the merits. The meeting will be chaired by Johnny DeLong, and the charge member will be represented by Yangani. Well, quite frankly, I think that if he doesn't adhere to what the ANC says is the norms, they should just say your appeal is denied. Bella is already lost, so we're screwed. What is this? That's the idiotic Elton Yankees cut. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, that's Elton Yankees sported that dumb cut. To be fair, each election there is a news outlet that accidentally posts one of their test screens with future voting results, not saying they aren't conspiring in multiple ways. Oh, I'll talk about that too. I didn't mention that yet, Light Rain, but I will mention that as well. Well, Panyaza Lusufi says that he leads a better government than Cyril Ramaphosa. Okay. Let's do this. We're going to do a couple quick polls, okay, because I just cannot resist this, okay? All right, so here we go. First poll. Okay, start a poll. Do you live in Gauteng? All right, so here's the first poll. If you live in Gauteng, please answer the poll. If you don't, you can answer the poll too so I can get a feel for how many people don't live there. All right, so yeah, so do you live in Gauteng province? Okay, so Panyaza Lesufi says that his government is better than Cyril Ramaphosa. Look, I'm not laughing because Cyril has a good government. I'm just laughing because Panyaza Lesufi is so full of crap his eyes are brown. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi claims his government of national or provincial unity operates more cohesively than President Ramaphosa's government of national unity. His comments on the GPU's superiority have sparked controversy within his party, leading to a summons by the ANC's headquarters, though he remains open with collaboration with any willing party, including the DA. According to Sufi, the Gauteng Executive Council, which he leads and comprises at least 4 political parties representing the Gauteng legislators, speaks with one voice. Oh, my goodness. Speaking with one voice doesn't mean you have a better government. It just means everybody cowls to your will. At 30 votes, keep voting, folks. Keep voting. So ShopRite is allowed to swallow up Pick and Pay and Spar outlets, and other stores by the Competition Committee. They won't let the tech industry and Vodacom merge, but they will allow this. The Competition Commission has approved a slew of proposed transactions where franchise stores operated under Pick and Pay, Spar, and an independent brand can be acquired by ShopRite. ShopRite is the least appealing of those stores. Pick and Pay, awesome. Spar, good. ShopRite, white trash, low class. The proposed transactions include ShopRite Checkers acquiring Spar Carolina and Tops, owned and operated by Intrax Investments. ShopRite Checkers acquiring Spar Diepkloof, operated by Manangulo Proprietary Limited. And ShopRite acquiring Van Riebeck Park Pick and Pay Liquor, owned by Van Riebeck Park Proprietary Limited, and acquiring Sean's Discount Liquor owned by Iskin SS. Well, all the stores are independently owned by individuals or trust outside the franchise brands. In all cases, the Commission said it was the view that the proposed transactions are unlikely to substantially lessen or prevent competition in any market and do not raise significant public interest concerns. Really? If you say so, I'll take your word for it. 93 people here, 40 votes. Can you tell us where you live? Was it Gauteng or elsewhere? South Africa's massive debt headache. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to astound you. For those of you who aren't paying attention, haven't been following events, South Africa's debt has increased 10 times in recent history, all on the ANC's watch. This is insane. Now, they used to claim that one of the problems they had when they inherited government is they had to pay down the debt from the National Party, and that was true. The National Party's government during apartheid had a significant amount of debt, and it did have to be paid down. But that debt's long gone. Now they're just piling on debt from their incompetence and their overspending. Yep. We're anticipating the government debt will reach more than 6.5 trillion or 75.5% of GDP this coming year. A significant escalation from the 627 billion or 23% of GDP 15 years ago. Wow. So national debt in South Africa has risen from 627 billion rand to 6 trillion rand, nearly 10 times the amount of debt in just 15 years. Wow. Absolute insanity, folks. Absolute insanity. My goodness. Well, South African media lied, and suckers fell for it. They ran an article, and the newspapers all repeated because none of them bother to question things. None of them have any critical thinking skills. They simply parrot what they hear elsewhere, and that's why everything is the same. Nothing but bogus reporting in the legacy media. So this story claimed that the LGBTQ community was contributing 250 billion rand to South Africa's economy annually. Really? Are that many people gay? 250 billion rand? Maybe 250 million rand, but not 250 billion. Wow. That's what they said, 250 billion rand. So Azani and Ronin, which is a little-known account that has a Substack. I don't know who the writer is. That's an interesting name. And Azani and Ronin, of course, Ronin are the Japanese warriors who fought for lords, and Azania, of course, is a word for South Africa. So this is a pseudonym. But Azani and Ronin, who has a Substack account and a Twitter account, which has like 90 viewers, said that the other foundation released a report called Size Matters, in which it was meant to shed light on the size, the impact of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and I don't know what I is, intersex market in South Africa. They said that it's an African trust that advances equality and freedom in Southern Africa with particular focus on sexual orientation and gender identity. They do not list who their donors are. However, they received 33 million in donations in 2024. So they say the report is acknowledged. They acknowledge several people who've donated there. So, also contributing is Ipsos, which is an international firm that does marketing, research, and polling. According to the Size Matters report, the South African LGBTI community market is 250 billion rand per year. All right, folks, this is why critical thinking skills are important. And this guy, Azan Ronin, whoever that is, black, white, brown, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, whoever this person is, they're spot on to something here. And I'm shocked that the IOL actually reported this story because they're complicit in the misreporting and the misinformation. See, this is what happens, and they're not held to account. The Press Council will not sanction any of these publications for publishing lies and publishing fiction to promote a social cause, an agenda of homosexuality. That's what they're promoting. Not that there's anything wrong with that, as Jerry Seinfeld would say. I'm not saying anything for or against homosexuality. What I am saying is that I'm for the truth, and this story was a lie when it was published. I remember reading the story when it came out, and I'm like, 250 billion? That can't be right. That's got to be a typo. But they all ran with it, and they were all wrong. And let's just take a look at the graph here. So the South African LGBTI community market worth is 250 billion a year. That's despite persistent barriers and a heavy burden of social responsibility. The value could be double that amount. 61% are more motivated to buy from inclusive businesses. I don't know where they get that data from. 75% are employed either part-time or full-time. 90% of LGBTIQ people are engaged in some form of income-generating activity. So the Mail and Guardian, who's listed as a partner of the other foundation, simply copied and pasted the same headline. Here you go, Mail and Guardian. SA's LGBTI market contributes 250 billion annually to the economy. And here you have another one coming from Business Live. 250 billion pink rand economic force revealed. There's no economic force here. This is a lie. And here's yet another one. This one from the IOL. Yep. Now there's the problem. That figure of 250 billion is wildly overestimated. It's so grossly exaggerated it falls in the category of disinformation. So here's some context that Azani and Ronan offers. He says the total value of the coal industry in South Africa is about 190 billion rand per year. The total value of exports under AGOA is 200 billion rand per year. And social grant expenditures in the country total 232 billion rand per year. So what this story in the news was saying is that the gay community, which represents less than 5% of the total population of South Africa, probably even lower than that, that community is larger than the entire coal industry, larger than the entire trade relationship with the United States, and larger than all social grants handed out by the government. And people fell for it. They believed it. Oh, because we love the gays. Well, you can love the gays. It has nothing to do with the story. It's just bullshit. Pure bullshit. Propaganda. And people just bought hook, line, and sinker. And every one of these so-called publications just reprinted the same thing. They are lazy. And I'm going to show you a story today about Lassa fever in South Africa trying to stoke fears over nonsense. There's no Lassa fever in South Africa. It's not endemic there. Why are we running a story saying South Africans should be worried about Lassa fever? They shouldn't be. This is lazy, lazy, lazy. And I know it's cut and paste because I've seen the text elsewhere. It's pure plagiarism. This passes for journalism in South Africa, and I'm going to talk about fake news in the United States today too and expose fake journalism by the Washington Post. Lying, misinformation, disinformation meant to mislead voters. This is election interference by the media, and I'm going to talk about it today, unless we get cut off by YouTube. Yeah. All right. Let me go back to the chat here. To be fair, each election there's... Okay, got that. This country is turning into the Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, exactly. That's because the poorer South Africa becomes, the better those people look. Wait till Kamala comes in. You'll wish our government had debt levels. In 1997, ShopRite acquired OK Bazaars from SAB for $1 rand. A Whitney Basson effect. Checkers gaining market share here in South Africa. Yeah, Checkers is great. The country and continent's not business oriented. True. Nick says, howdy, Chris and all. Great chilly UK. Happy Halloween in the house tonight. Yeah, it's trick or treat tonight here. So I've got all the sweets ready to rot the kids' teeth if they show up tonight. But I'm going to have to step away for an emergency meeting or a special meeting for a little bit. So I might miss the early part of it, and there'll be no answer at my door. So the kiddies hopefully won't toilet paper my house as a consequence. Trying to imagine our local mall with 2 ShopRites. ShopRite, Pick and Pay, yeah. Well, they're not taking over Pick and Pay. They bought some of their assets. We'll catch up. Going to test my speed test and Wi-Fi. Oh, did you go to Business Tech and see that they have an app to test your mobile Wi-Fi speed? You just outlined the flow bullshit from NGO, get donors, Soros, write up shit, sell newspapers, and get rich quick. Exactly. It's rinse, lather, repeat. Doesn't tell you to stop. Journos thinking groups. Yep, just arrived. Maybe the Nelson Mandela Bay Mayor is not in anymore, but we far from anything decent. Yeah, no, you're right. It's true. Nothing's changing there. All right. So now, I've got people in the poll. So let's see what the poll says. Most people aren't from Gauteng, so that means only about 25% out of 65. That's for only 12 people. All right. So those 12 people, I'm going to put the poll up, but I know more people than that are going to vote, but let's put a new poll up here. Okay. Is the Gauteng GPU better than the GNU? All right. So I'm going to give you, there's no H in Gauteng. Let's fix that. Okay. Yes, no, add an option. Okay. All right. So here's your poll. Is the Gauteng GPU better than the GPU, the national GPU? Okay. That's a government provincial unity versus the government national unity. Here's the poll and your chance to vote in it. Anyone can vote in this, but it was really for Gauteng residents. So anybody can vote in it. Feel free to vote. We had 65 votes for the previous one. Most of you don't live there. That's interesting to see. All right. Back to there we go. All right. So, if Kamala against Pat Americans to wish for South Africa's government, not just debt level, at least ANC's incompetence, something. Dodgers won the World Series. That's correct. Pablo Charlie did, and I don't care. I don't care. Don't care. Maybe Steve Garvey cares. Let's hope Steve Garvey wins his Senate race in California so that Adam Schiff doesn't become the next senator from California. God forbid. Steve Garvey. I would be so cool to see Steve Garvey in the Senate. Right. I'm sorry, folks. I'm so choked up. Despite having years of government salary, living high off the hog, apparently Busisiwe Makwabene is a lazy shit and didn't save any money. She's destitute. She needs her severance package. She needs her gratuity. Oh my goodness. Makwabene tells the Constitutional Court her suffering worsens every day since she's not paid $10 million gratuity. Wow. During her stint as an EFF MP, she sued the public protector for non-payment of her gratuity. Removed public protector Busisiwe Makwabene says her suffering worsens every day she is not paid the $10 million gratuity. Really? Busisiwe Makwabene, you poor suffering soul. My goodness. I mean, gosh, let's see how long she was in government service here. I'll just take a look. I don't know the exact year, so I want to take a look. Let's see how long she served. She's 54 years of age, and she was the member of the National Assembly, but she was the public protector from 2016 to 2022 and impeached in 2023. So she drew a salary for October 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So for 7 years, she drew a salary. Then from that year to this year, 8 years, she drew a member of parliament salary. All those were over R1,000,000 for sure. So that is right there, 8 million rand she received from the time that she was 44 or 46, from 46 to 54, 8 million rand. And she has no money. She wants your sympathy. Busisiwe Makwabene says she hasn't been paid her gratuity. She's suffering. Oh my goodness. Wow. Unbelievable. Poor thing. Poor thing. She argued she should be allowed direct access to the Constitutional Court because her latest gratuity appeal was self-evidently urgent, inter alia, because it involves the livelihood of a human being and remuneration is payable within 7 days of termination of employment contract. But 14 months since she's been terminated, she hasn't had the matter resolved. The moment she was terminated, she became a member of parliament for the EFF and continued to draw a large salary at the taxpayer expense. Poor Busisiwe Makwabene. All right, folks, the Independent Line, desperate for news, shocking not, has an article by Zolile Mtembu. Now, I'm really not sure why she is doing this article, but this is a topic that you don't have to worry about in South Africa, even by her own admission in the article. But why is it running? The Air National Guard is flying over my house right now at about 300 feet in C-130s. Wow. So, Lassa fever. What is Lassa fever, and should South Africans be concerned? Ooh, that picture of rats licking from the bowl is very concerning. However, Lassa fever is not endemic to South Africa. South African travelers in endemic countries might be at risk where infected rats are. Since the beginning of the Rona pandemic, the scientific community and citizens have been on edge after experiencing how a virus can sweep through the globe so quickly, wreaking havoc and killing indiscriminately. Recently, a man in Iowa in the U.S. died from Lassa fever after contracting it in West Africa. This is a garbage, non-news story perpetrating fear. But what is Lassa fever, and should South Africans be concerned? No, he shouldn't be concerned. It occurs naturally in Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, and Nigeria. I lived in Liberia for 16 months. I didn't get Lassa fever. I don't hang out with rats. Wow. It is not in South Africa. But they make a point of saying that a South African died from it. Yeah, after he went to Nigeria. Idiots. In 2022, a case was identified in KZN. The agency indicated that the male patient had traveled extensively to Nigeria prior to returning to South Africa. Lassa fever is not in South Africa. Stop this stupidity. Well, according to IOL, South Africa faces difficult choices after the BRICS summit. Basically because they've got nothing tangible from the BRICS summit last year. And they never will. Interesting enough, though, the article addressing Professor Patrick Bond from Joburg University criticized the summit in Kazan, Russia, as an exercise in hype, hope, and hopelessness. And I agree. He said the BRICS nations produce 51% of global emissions, but generate just 29% of GDP. Damn! Oh, slam! Take that, climate zealots. As I've been telling you over and over again, China is the world's largest emitter of carbon emissions. You want to stop carbon emissions? Then stop producing goods in China and produce it in clean, efficient factories in Europe, in the United States, in Japan, in South Korea, not in China. Yes, 51% of global emissions, but just 29% of GDP. In other words, they're heavy polluters. South Africa, Russia, Iran, China, major polluters. Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you these questions. All right, before I report this. And be honest, nobody sees your poll answer, so be honest. Okay, I'm going to take a look at this. And I think you like the answer I gave. I put they both suck buttermilk. Somebody thinks that the Haotang GPU is better than the national one. Okay, fair enough. But 55% say they both suck buttermilk. Oh, my goodness. Yes, Hender says, I'm not in Parliament. I don't hang out with rats. That's true. All right, now here's a new poll. We're doing lots of polls today. So, did you assume the man who bought a 13-year-old sex slave was hang on, folks, this is a good poll. Okay, here's the poll. All right, so I talked about a story yesterday for those who watched the program yesterday, which was a smaller crowd than today. Thank you for being here today. And yesterday I talked about this case of a lawyer, a man who engaged the services of an underage sex slave prostitute whose mother pimped her and her sister, an 11 and a 13-year-old, sold them to clients, 9 or 10 clients per day, screwed these little girls. And one of these guys became enamored with the 13-year-old and must have fallen in love with her and offered to purchase her from her mother. The mother agreed, and the child was sold for 160,000 rand to be his sex slave, a 13-year-old. So did you assume, based on the story, because we didn't know the identity of the man, now I know the identity of the man, I've actually seen the man. So be honest, what was your first assumption? Because it says a lot about us, okay? What did you assume? This isn't good or bad, you're not right or wrong. It's just an experiment. If you're honest, and it only works if you're honest to tell us the truth, what you assume. Did you assume that this person was white, black, colored, or you didn't assume anything? It says a lot about you. Be honest. It doesn't say bad things. It doesn't say good things. It just says a lot about how we approach things. So what did you assume? How many people have voted already? All right, we got 30 votes. That's not a big enough sample. We need more samples. Okay. Nobody thought the person was colored. Why? Because colors don't have any money? Oh, my goodness. China don't care about pollution. Nope, we can't be high polluters. We'd have no power. You are still high polluters. COVID isn't the example they think it is. Exactly. Durban is, hey, George, starting to look like a war zone with all the fireworks going up in the air. Hendo says, watch it, my friend is an MP. Oh, well, let's get your NP friend on the channel there, Vilma. Talk about something interesting. All right. Pets hate Diwali. Yeah, because of all the noise. Pedo doesn't discriminate. They come in all colors. Oh, I like how you spell that, pedo. That's interesting. Colors have swag. They can talk their way in for free. So colored dudes wouldn't have to buy. Oh, my goodness. The DA is leading the GNU and will save the country. Okay, Michael Holmes, I don't think the DA is leading anything, and I doubt they're going to save the country, but I appreciate your optimism, and I'm, for once, we're kind of in agreement, at least from an optimistic standpoint, but not from a factual standpoint. Interesting. So Eric is being called. All right, so we're at 42 votes. Come on, folks, got 100 people here. Some more you can vote so I get a representative sample before I talk about the story any further, but I am going to talk about that story shortly. I'm going to skip it and come back to it, okay? South Africa is moving forward with its effort to get the Formula One back in Africa. That's right, at the Kyalami Kailimi racetrack, they want to get Formula One back. Gate McKenzie's made it a priority, and South Africa's working hard. Apparently, they've got help. They've got help from a certain British Formula One race car driver. Kailima Grand Prix Circuit, which hosted its first Formula One race in 1961, has long held a prominent place in South African motorsport. Since 93, however, fans have only been able to watch Formula One remotely because it has not come back to South Africa. But discussions are underway. Gate McKenzie met with Formula One CEO Stefano Domenicali at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in September. He said South Africa is one step closer to reintroducing Formula One and reported positive discussions with President Mohammed bin Salman about advancing support for the initiative. Wow. So none other than Lewis Hamilton is working with Rwanda and South Africa for race plans. Lewis Hamilton is involved in helping South Africa try to get back Formula One. That's fascinating, wouldn't you say? Interesting stuff. Come on, 4 more votes to give us a representative sample of 50 votes. If 4 more people can vote in that poll. Okay. China and Zambia are celebrating 60 years of diplomatic relations, which once again puts to scupper the lies spread by the Washington elite that China is coming to Africa. China's been in Africa for 6 decades. I've been telling people that forever. It's just the scale of what they're doing is much larger because they've stolen all our money and they're using it to their own benefit. Anyway, China and Zambia celebrate 60 years of diplomatic relations. Chinese President Xi Jinping and Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema exchanged congratulatory messages on the 60th anniversary of diplomatic ties between the two countries. Yes, of course, China loves Zambia because that's where they get their copper from, and they need copper. Will America's policy towards Africa change with the next president? No. This is a very good article, actually, written here by Celia Fröhlich in Politics in Deutsche Welle. The U.S. hasn't made Africa a top diplomatic priority, has lagged with investment and trade, and used the region as a battleground for power struggles with China and Russia. Both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are following a trend in U.S. presidential election well known by Africans, neither candidate making U.S.-Africa relations a major election issue. Neither Trump nor outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden paid much attention to Africa during their presidencies, and neither of them visited the continent while in office. True. So, yep. Now, she went to Ghana in 2023, but really nothing came of that. And there's her, woman beater, Doug Emhoff. He went along too. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Anyway, so there you have it. We got 50 votes. Okay, I can end the poll and I can address that now. All right, so 39% said they assumed nothing. 37% said they assumed the person was white. 21% assumed the person was black, and 1% assumed the person was colored. And that was the last vote that came in. It said colored. I don't know if they're just playing. It's probably Matthew Dixon just messing with the poll. All right, let's take a look at who this person is that bought a girl for 13 years old so he could stick his piston in her. Sick, twisted people. This is not the 13th century. You can't sleep with 13-year-olds. It's illegal. Well, here you go, folks. It is Karl Skuman, the attorney accused of buying a 13-year-old girl. We don't know the identity of the girl. We don't know if it was a black girl, a colored girl, or a white girl that was being pimped. But he is accused of buying a 13-year-old from her mother. Wow. 35-year-old appeared in a Gauteng High Court in Palm Ridge on Wednesday, along with his co-accused, the mother, who can't be named, to protect the identity of her 2 daughters, who are the complainants. He was charged with 26 counts, including 4 counts of rape, exploitation of children, human trafficking, kidnapping, child abuse, and using the services of victims of trafficking. He pled not guilty. The mother advertised the sexual services of the eldest daughter on adult websites, which allegedly included Sex Trader and Red Velvet. Once again, sites I've not heard of. It sounds like a cake, Red Velvet. He allegedly made his first booking with a 13-year-old in September of 2022. Between September, was she 11 then? Good Lord. September, November, he allegedly made several more bookings until December 2022, and he approached the mother to buy the girl. An amount of $160,000 was agreed upon. The accused made 2 down payments of $24,000 to accuse one and handed her a motor vehicle for her use. Wow. In the state's version, that Skuman effectively used the minor as a sex slave, as he allegedly raped her daily at a guest house and flat in Heidelberg. When the victim refused to participate in a sexual act with the accused, he would point his firearm at her and threaten her. Wow. He was granted bail of $30,000. What's this? Arrested in 2023. What was he arrested in 2023 for? The mother has been charged with 72 counts, including 9 of sexual exploitation of children, 9 of rape. human trafficking, kidnapping, child abuse, and creating child pornography because she filmed the sex acts. Wow. She also failed to register the birth of her younger daughter with the Department of Home Affairs. Accused forced the victim to do prostitution. Would move the victim between guest houses in several towns where the victim had to participate in sexual acts with unknown men. It's alleged the younger daughter was also taken to Asymptote in Ramsgate for the same purposes, where clients raped her in Asymptote. According to the indictment, the mother would allegedly force her daughters, 11 and 13 at the time, to have sex with several clients a day at various guest houses around Bulksburg, Heidelberg, and Springs in exchange for money. Good God. What the hell is wrong with these people? What the hell is wrong with these people? Sick, twisted. Oh, my goodness. Typhoon Kongray hits Taiwan with a vengeance, making landfall. Heavy winds, heavy rain, and high winds. Look at that. Typhoon Kongray. The largest typhoon to hit Taiwan in 30 years has made landfall in the country's southeast, bringing heavy rain and power cuts, prompting mass evacuations in Taiwan. Brett has given another super chat. Thank you, Brett. $5 thoughts on Jamaica. I believe they're a U.S. ally. Socialism. Michael Manley wrecked Jamaica's economy. Yep, they did. Jamaica is the murder capital of the world. Even more murders per capita than South Africa. It's an extremely violent place to go. Great tourist destination despite that crime because it doesn't really hit the tourists that much. But it is a country with a lot of problems. I've been to Jamaica. It was interesting, but I didn't find it all that appealing. At least one person has died as a result of that typhoon in Taiwan. North Korea has launched its first intercontinental ballistic missile of the year, defying the Biden regime once again. Missile test slammed as a flagrant violation of UN Security Council resolutions, which risk destabilizing the region. Yep, a North Korean intercontinental ballistic missile was launched on Thursday for the first time in nearly a year. It was the longest ballistic missile test by the North, with a flight time of 87 minutes. According to the Japanese government, the missile was launched at a lofted test trajectory reaching altitude of 7,000 kilometers on a normal flatter trajectory that translates to a potential range of over 15,000, putting it anywhere in the mainland United States within range. Oh, that's nice. The Democrats have allowed the North Koreans to build intercontinental ballistic missiles that can strike my house. Wow, thank you, Joe Biden. Well, speaking of danger from abroad, I tell you all the time that China is the enemy. China is the enemy of liberty. China is the enemy of prosperity. China is the enemy of the world. Yep, fact, no question about it. Well, $50 billion spent building military bases in recent history. So here we go. Hainan Island, which is where they forced down our aircraft illegally when they assaulted us with their idiotic planes flying too close back in George Bush's term in office in 2001. Hainan Island is a popular tourist destination with soft sand beaches, quaint mountain villages, and fancy seaside resorts. So here you have the Holiday Inn, the MGM Grand, the Sheraton, the Marriott. 500 feet away from that is the Yanglong Bay is East Yulin Naval Base, home to Chinese destroyers and nuclear-armed submarines, right next to tourist destinations. In the past decade, the island is roughly the size of Taiwan. Has become home to China's most concentrated buildup of modern military power and a launching point for its aggressive forays into the contested waters of the South China Sea. All right, let's take a look at what's going on. Here's Hainan Island. And from 2003 to 2024, they built the Jilaisha Air Base, the PLA Rocket Force Base at Dangzhou, the Wenchang Space Launch Site, the Linshui Air Base, the Lidong Air Base, and the Greater Yulin Naval Base. Wow. It's a profound challenge to the region. Yep. So there's tourists on the beach. Here's estimated construction value from 2003 to 2022. The small circles are $1 billion. The big circles are $3 billion. China's military has spent $15 billion over the past 20 years on the Greater Yulin Naval Base alone. Woody Island and the Paracel Islands, they spent $2.7 building military bases in the area that's outside their territorial range. And much further afield in the territorial range of the Philippines and Malaysia, they have built the Mischief Reef, $3 billion, the Subi Reef, $3.5 billion, and the Fiery Cross Reef, $3.1 billion in military expenditures. They're working to dominate this region. There is a graphical image of the base. So on the right-hand side of that, you see the resort area, and then the naval base is just opposite with the submarine piers and pens. Wow. Aircraft carrier, just under a half mile in length, completed in 2013 at that base. Yep. Wow. Yep, the U.S. EP-3 reconnaissance plane was hit by a Chinese fighter jet, made an emergency landing at their airfield. Yep. That was a single narrow runway dotted with Soviet-era jets and flanked by palm trees. Today, with modernization, that base is estimated to be worth $1.65 billion and boasts anti-submarine warfare aircraft, airborne early warning craft, and new munitions storage. It's now one of 3 major air bases on the island. There's the Space Launch Facility. That was what it looked like in 2014. 8 years later, look at all that buildup. So these are the sea lanes in the South China Sea. And China is claiming that area. It's not Chinese, but this rogue communist regime claims land or sea space that borders Malaysia and Brunei and the Philippines and Vietnam. They're out of control in defiance of the International Court of Justice. And that's their so-called first island chain. They claim all of that as their territorial waters. Brett's got to go. Thank you for the super chats, Brett. Really appreciate it. I hope I answered your questions. Some 7.4 trillion in trade flows go through the waters of South China Sea and East China every year. Wow. And here's some of the places they built up. The Spratly Islands, Mischief Reef, there's a runway. They built an artificial island there. Subi Reef, another one. 1,452 acres, 1,075 acres, 690 acres in Fiery Cross, and 813 acres in Woody Island. And here you take a look at Mischief Reef, what they've done there with early warning towers, radar domes, runways, construction. Wow. This is crazy. Anyway, that's what China's been doing. China is a threat to the world, folks. They are intentionally threatening global shipping lanes. Well, Russia is quietly making huge gains in the Donbass region, which is not being reported by the media for the most part, but the New York Times does report on the story. 2 years of territorial changes going back to November of 2023 all the way to October of this year. That's not 2 years. That's 1 year. How do you do that? November of 2022, excuse me. November 2022 till October 2023. It is 2 years. And you can see that Russia's gained territory throughout that time, except for a few places where the Ukrainians. But the Ukrainians are basically gaining nothing since since August of last year. They really gained almost nothing. The red are territorial gains by Russia, the blue by Ukraine. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. There are some recent advances towards Pokrovsk by the Russians in dark. And you can see here they've gained more. In August, they get closer to Pokrovsk. And then they've gained more already here. They keep going and keep going. And Russia's getting closer and closer. So here are gains since May 1st in the Donbass region. Russian gains. There you have it. Not being widely reported by the media. But it comes at a huge cost. Russia has had a lot of casualties, but they are winning. Well, 8 Supreme Court justices in Mexico resigned, folks, over the overhaul of the judicial system. All but 3 of the country's Supreme Court justices have announced they would quit rather than partake in the controversial elections mandated by judicial overhaul. In a series of terse resignation letters released yesterday, 8 of Mexico's 11 Supreme Court justices said they would step down from their posts instead of participating in a contentious election of thousands of judges next year. They will serve out the remainder of their terms, most of which conclude in August. This is the latest volley in an ongoing battle over judicial overhaul passed by the ruling party and its allies in September. It will upend the system by which Mexico's judges are chosen and how they operate. Well, President Claudia Sheinbaum is making waves in Mexico. I don't know if they're good waves or bad waves. The leader of Argentina sacked his ambassador. Wow. Or foreign minister. Milei sacks foreign minister who backed UN resolution supporting Cuba. After Wednesday's vote, the office of Argentina's president pointed out our country is categorically opposed to the Cuban dictatorship. There's Diana Mondino, the now fired foreign minister. Argentinian President Javier Milei has sacked his foreign minister after the country voted in favor of an annual resolution at the UN General Assembly calling for the lifting of sanctions and embargoes on Cuba. In a post on social media platform, Milei spokesman Manuel Adrini revealed that Miss Diana Moderino had been replaced by Argentina's ambassador to the United States, Geraldo Vertain. The new chancellor of the Argentine Republic is Mr. Geraldo Vertain. She was fired hours after Argentina joined 186 nations in voting to end the embargo against Cuba. Only the United States and Israel voted against the non-binding resolution, and with one abstention from Moldova. So Javier Milei makes waves again, showing that he's a rational person trying to stop communism. Well, Eagles players from the Philadelphia Eagles are idiots, claiming that they don't want to go to Brazil because it's dangerous. The crime is out of control because they believe social media and they don't know what's going on. Yes, murders are bad in Brazil, but not as bad as Philadelphia. Some NFL players call Brazil dangerous ahead of the league's first game in South America on Friday. Statistics show that the home city of Philadelphia is deadlier. I don't want to go to Brazil. National Football League executives have worked hard for years to bring Friday night's opening weekend to Brazil. But a comment from Philadelphia Eagles player Darius Slay on his podcast last week has already gotten off to a bad start. Then it got worse. They already told us not to leave the hotel. And there is another thank you for your membership. Thank you for your membership there, Pork Leaker. Appreciate it. So they already told us not to leave the hotel. The crime rate is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, NFL, why do you all want to send us somewhere with a crime rate this high? He told his family to stay home and hoped he would make it home safely because, boy, they're talking about is crazy down there. He's not the only Eagles player concerned. A.J. Brown, a wide receiver, said he planned to stay in a hotel. All right, so last year, Sao Paulo, where the game is being held, registered 4.2 murders per 100,000 people. One of the lowest rates in Brazil. In Philadelphia, the murder rate is 26.1 per 100,000 people. 4.2, and it's 26.1 in Philadelphia. And they're worried about being murdered in Sao Paulo. Now, to be fair, that's not the only crime. The theft is much higher in Sao Paulo than it is in Philadelphia. But they're worried about being murdered. The chance to get murdered a lot higher in Philadelphia than they are in Sao Paulo. Is it true that Tommy Robinson's jail? Yeah, he's been sentenced to jail for 18 months. I don't know if he's in jail. I don't know if he was in the country. Yikes. My goodness. Well, the Supreme Court has made the right decision and intervened in the case of the Department of Injustice under Meritless Garland, seeking to prevent Virginia from removing illegal people off the election rolls. They removed them under a law that existed in Virginia. They were complying with the law, and then the demon rats in the corrupt Biden regime sought to allow illegal aliens and felons to remain on the voting rolls so they could vote. Virginia went to the Supreme Court, and they won. Some good decision here. Right. The Supreme Court yesterday allowed Virginia to remove 1,600 names of suspected non-citizens from its voter rolls before the elections. The 63 ruling put on hold lower court decisions that found the state's purge violated federal law and ordered Virginia to restore the names to the list. The names can remain off the rolls while the case proceeds through the courts. It marked a major early victory for conservatives and what the court watchers expect to be a tsunami of election-related cases in coming weeks. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, who ordered the purge, celebrated the win. Clean voter rolls are one important part of a comprehensive approach that we are taking to ensure the fairness of our elections. Virginians can cast their ballots on Election Day, knowing that Virginia's elections are fair, secure, and free from politically motivated interference. There you go. Mr. Youngkin ordered the purge in August, and then the demon rats tried to stop it. Well, the judge today or tomorrow will hear arguments in the case against Elon Musk registering voters. Elon Musk was sued for giving money to registered voters who signed his petition expressing support for the First and Second Amendments, which in itself isn't illegal. But the George Soros-backed corrupt scumbag district attorney for Philadelphia, Larry Krasner, took him to court. And now Elon Musk must appear in court. He is being forced at his own expense to travel to Pennsylvania, where he's probably already at campaigning, to go to Philadelphia to appear in court over a bogus lawsuit, which is the misuse of political authority by government officials to bankrupt. In this case, he won't bankrupt the richest man in the world. But if he did it to me, it would put an imposition on me or you that they get away with because they can. A judge in Philadelphia will hear arguments today, for and against Elon Musk's $1 million giveaway to registered voters after granting a prosecutor's motion to move the hearing up one day. Philadelphia County Court of Common Pleas Judge Angelo Foglietta agreed to require all parties, including Musk, to attend the hearing. Wow, they must be present. Philadelphia scumbag district attorney Larry Krasner asked the judge to move the hearing due to security concerns and to require the attendance of Musk and a representative. So this is the power of a scumbag, Soros-backed piece of shit prosecutor like Larry Krasner. He can force a private citizen to appear in a state he's not a resident in at his own expense to defend himself in a bogus case for which Larry Krasner has no legal authority over. It's all bullshit. It's unbelievable. Well, Donald Trump hits Wisconsin in a garbage truck in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden. Oh, what happened to this? It disappeared. Anyway, that's one of the few stories talking about Donald Trump and the garbage truck. It was excellent trolling, but he also had a story in the Daily Mail, and he reveals why he wore the vest when he went to speak. Because they told him he looked thinner. He tells the story how he decided to wear his garbage uniform for the rally. I said, no way. But they said, if you did, it actually makes you look thinner. I said, oh, they got me. It does make him look thinner because it's so big. There's Trump in his garbage truck. Brand new garbage truck painted white. That is so funny. What a brilliant source of trolling. And there's Brett Favre, famous quarterback who from the Green Bay Packers, who was there at the rally. So Trump trolled with his garbage truck. And the media downplaying. They're ignoring the story altogether. Still going on about the pathetic comedian who made a joke about Puerto Rico. Well, an ABC station in Scranton, Pennsylvania ran a headline that says that Kamala Harris won the race. We haven't voted yet. Oh, my goodness. ABC station airs graphics saying Harris has won Pennsylvania. An ABC station, Pennsylvania, aired a graphic saying Vice President Kamala Harris had won the state 9 days before voting is done. During a Sunday evening broadcast, a Formula One Mexican Grand Prix, Scranton affiliate WNEP aired a bottom-of-the-screen chyron showing remarkably precise results, which the station said was a mistake. According to the chyron, with 100% of the votes counted, Ms. Harris defeated former President Donald Trump 52 to 47%, getting 3.2 million votes versus Trump's 2.9 million. The station said it was a technical mistake. Those numbers should not have appeared on the screen, and it was an error by WNEP, the station said in its own article. Well, a lot of people took to social media and said, well, they've already got the fixes in. They already have the graphics prepared for when they're going to steal it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. The cheat is on, said one ex-poster. If the same graphics pop up after November 5th, the same percentage, it'll be extremely suspicious. Yeah, no kidding, it'll be suspicious. Nostradamus is in the house. Well, the Daily Mail says Donald Trump has opened up a 3-point lead over Kamala Harris, which is the biggest lead of any candidate in this race. Wow. Former president could be in line for a shock win in the popular vote. Yeah, I've been saying that Donald Trump will win an electoral landslide. He could even win the popular vote because of the missteps and the complete idiocy, lunacy of her candidacy. I have been saying that. Now the media is coming along with what I'm saying. We could all be wrong, but they're joining me now. Donald Trump has overtaken Kamala Harris in the final Daily Mail national poll before Election Day, with the former president holding a 3-point lead. Both candidates have shored up their bases, but Trump has done better picking up support from independents and undecided voters in the final push. The race is still close, yet with 5 days to go, the numbers mean Trump is currently on course to become the first Republican candidate since George Bush to win the popular vote in 2004. Vice President held a 1-point lead when the poll was last conducted in September, so it's been a 4-point shift. Trump up by 3 after being down by 1. Yep, her honeymoon is over. Her honeymoon is over. Wow. Well, they're doing their best to interfere with the election. Absolutely. They're doing their best, including state-run media, which is Voice of America, running stories, trying to mislead. And this story, Musk's X is ineffective against the surge of election misinformation. The problem is that what they identify, the legacy media, as misinformation is not misinformation. Me reporting that the district attorney of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, held a press conference last week in which she announced that a canvassing effort by a firm, which was later identified as an organization that works for Democratic donors trying to get people of color registered to vote, which there's nothing wrong with that, but that group was responsible for turning in 2,500 registration ballot applications for mail-in ballots and voter registration on the deadline day of Friday, the week prior. And when they looked suspicious as they went through them and processed them, they got detectives involved and determined that 60% were fraudulent. That is not misinformation. That is not disinformation. That is not hysteria. That is not a Trump acolyte telling you. That is a journalist, an independent journalist, me telling you the facts of what are going on. Now, I also offered analysis and said the reason why this probably happened may have very little to do with voter fraud, but more likely it's simply voter registration fraud, because the people canvassing, I don't know how they get compensated, but I suspect they get compensated for their time by the hourly rate, and they get compensated for the number of people they get registered. Therefore, it's in their interest to cheat if they're cheaters. That's been my offer. But the mainstream media aren't even addressing that. They're simply claiming that people are lying, and they're blaming X for it. Well, they're the ones lying, and I'll show you that shortly with the Washington Post lie. Yes. The crowdsourced fact-checking feature of Elon Musk's X community notes is failing to counter false claims about the U.S. election, the Center for Counterfeiting Digital Hate said in a report Wednesday. Well, the Center for Counterfeiting Digital Hate seems like a hate-wanking site. Out of 283 misleading posts that they analyzed, only 209 or 74% did not show accurate notes to all X users correcting false and misleading claims about the election. Now, they launched that community notes feature last year. Yeah, well, it works pretty well in my view. Anyway, they're just doing anything they can. So Donald Trump alleges fraud in Pennsylvania, but officials say the election is secure. Well, so what? Donald Trump alleges fraud. In fact, there is fraud. We have it. The fact that officials say the election is secure is a separate topic. It doesn't mean people aren't trying to commit fraud, which is what Trump is saying. The former president's fraud claims are wildly exaggerated. They're not. And overlook the voting safeguards are working, election authorities say. He's not making the claim they're not working. This is a dishonest headline in the Washington Post meant to mislead readers. And it will work because people are stupid. Former President Donald Trump on Wednesday lodged claims of voter fraud in Pennsylvania, a state critical to his election prospects. But Democratic officials and voting rights advocates say that Trump's allegations are wildly exaggerated. And the problems he and Republicans are focusing on are not only common, but also proof election safeguards are working as intended. For months, Trump has been using misinformation to lay the groundwork that a stolen election occurred in 2020. Trump and his Republican allies appear to be increasingly focused on creating the impression that there's an array of problems with Pennsylvania's elections and results can't be trusted. Well, there is a problem. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro responded saying, let's remember Trump attacked our elections over and over. He's now trying to use the same playbook to stoke chaos. But hear me, we will again have a free and fair election. Well, Josh Shapiro, in 2020, as the Attorney General, you failed to uphold the rule of law. Pennsylvania's Act 77 explicitly states that mail-in ballots must be at the Board of Elections by the close of polls, 8 p.m. on Election Day, not 10 days after the election, which is what Tom Wolf said they were going to do. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court, comprised of 2 Republicans and 5 Democrats, then declared that they could take the ballots for 3 days after the election. That is illegal. That was a violation. It should have negated our electoral votes because our election was fraudulent based on that. So that's not misinformation, Josh Shapiro. That's a statement of fact. You are a operative who lies to the public, and you're the governor of my state. Shame on you. You are a liar, a blatant liar, and you are a failure as Attorney General, failing to uphold the rule of law. So, all right. Lancaster County officials announced last week that they had identified 2,500 voter registration applications were potentially fraudulent. District Attorney Heather Adams said her team had found that 60% were potentially illegitimate. Well, that's 1,500 ballots. Soon after, officials in York County, my county, said another batch had been dropped off with the same problems. Officials on Tuesday, Trump went to Allentown. He said they've already started cheating in Lancaster. Well, somebody's cheating. Officials and voting advocates strenuously disagreed, saying the fact that registration flag shows the system's in place to catch ineligible registration. No, it doesn't. What it shows you is that on the final day of stuff coming in, when people were overwhelmed with a large number, they began paying close attention to it. It doesn't address what's been going on since August, which is now an open question, whether it was addressed or not. Why was it only then that they began? They didn't tell us that this was unusual. It was a one-off. They didn't say that. So this is a misleading misinformation by the Washington Post. The idea there's widespread fraud is completely false without any evidence, designed to sow doubt and ultimately subvert the election, says Neil Makita, Democratic Commissioner of Montgomery County. Oh, no. Okay, so Neil, let's just run through the events in Pennsylvania. 1,500 fraudulent voter applications, registration in Lancaster County alone. In York County, an unknown number, waiting to hear that number, and a third county that was identified by Heather Adams, which is not publicly released yet. 3 counties, 2 of the most populous and conservative districts in the state right here. So on top of that, we have Bucks County, where early voting, which the Washington Post denies early voting, but they're fraudulent, they're misinformation, disinformation, and I will show you the truth on that. We have in Bucks County people being turned away. Now, I didn't report on this because someone recorded a video and they claimed it was a certain time, and someone who was there said, no, it stopped at 1:45. I couldn't independently verify the veracity and the provenance of those videos. However, now news reporting has come out, and I can, in fact, verify that in Bucks County, in Doylestown, at least one location, officials shut down the line because they were so inundated by people coming in for in-person voting, which is early voting. If you come for in-person voting on October 30th, it's not election day. Therefore, by definition, it's early voting. So they were so overwhelmed because the process is so cumbersome that they decided to shut the line down. But that's illegal. They had announced that people could vote through 5 p.m. on Tuesday, and then they shut the line down at 1:45. A full 3 hours and 15 minutes prior to the time, so people came to vote, and they were denied the vote. The Republicans under Trump went and sued, and a judge has granted that now they must stay open until 5 p.m. tomorrow. They gave them Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now because of their criminal activity. The people who did that should be sanctioned and removed for denying people the right to vote. And the newspaper should retract its lies saying there's no early voting in Pennsylvania. My neighbor early voted. He had a heart attack last year, and he's worried he might die before the election. So he went and voted early. He stood in line. He went there, boom, drove all the way down to the courthouse or to the county and voted early by doing this. But the mainstream media are denying and lying and saying there's no early voting in Pennsylvania. It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. An absolute lie. Kyle Miller, Pennsylvania's policy strategist for Protect Democracy, said Republicans seem to be planning the idea if the problems were uncovered in Lancaster, New York, 2 counties Trump won, fraud could be occurring unnoticed in other parts of the state. There's no evidence of that happening, and I'm confident that election officials are putting the same due to... No. We saw election interference in Bucks County. So it is occurring elsewhere, just a different form. Diane Ellis Margasela, a Democratic commissioner in Bucks County, said staff put up a sign letting people know that after a certain spot in line, they might not have time to apply and vote. But they later clarified that anyone in line by 5 p.m. will be able to do so, except that they put a deputy out there blocking line and threatening people wearing a face mask. So that's why I didn't know if it was real, because what moron wears a face covering in 2024? This isn't 2020, when you're all hysterically afraid of a virus. Yeah. Anyway, late Wednesday afternoon, a county judge sided with Trump, saying Bucks County violated state election code and ruled that the county must extend in-person voting to Thursday. Okay, I thought it said Friday, but anyway. Yeah, anyway. So this is the funny thing. This is by Colby Ickowitz, who wrote this, and it's wrong. She's a liar. She's misinformation expert. The alleged issues in Pennsylvania's election follows months of Republican efforts to require officials not to count mail-in votes over technical mistakes. Yeah, because the law says you're not allowed to count it. They're just simply trying to get people to follow the law. So here it is. They say there's no early voting. Let me see if it was this article or the other one, because in one of these articles they claim there's no early voting. Hang on a second here. I think it was the other article. Find and page early. Yeah, here you go. It's her article. Pennsylvania does not have early voting, but it does allow people to request a mail-in ballot in person and drop it off. Long lines request mail-in ballots and report all over the state. Pennsylvania does not have early voting. Here it is right here, folks. I'll show you. Right there in her story. This is a lie. This is misinformation. This is fraudulent. This is election interference by this journalist at the Washington Compost. And her name is Colby Ickowitz. Let's take a look at who Colby Ickowitz is. Colby Ickowitz has covered Washington policy for most of her career since coming to the Post in March 2014. She covers Pennsylvania politics, and she lies. She lies. This is simply untrue. They do have early voting, and I'm going to show you from Pennsylvania Commonwealth site right here. Right here. This is the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on-demand ballot voting. That's what it's called. Early voting is called on-demand. It's early voting. She can call it what she wants, but it's early voting. If you're a registered Pennsylvania voter, you have a convenient option of applying for a mail-in ballot in person at your county elections office, then completing the ballot while you're there. In one visit, voters can apply for and submit their mail ballot. That's an early vote. She's a liar. See how they mislead people? Where do I vote? By person in an early mailing. There it is right there. Pennsylvania's website. There it is right there, folks. There it is right there. And what do we got? We got the New York or the Washington Post lying about it. Miss Ickowitz lying. Apparently she lives in Pennsylvania, but she's a liar. And it's misinformation being spread by the Washington Compost, where democracy dies in their darkness. Unbelievable. And here's the real story here. It's not so much fraud, but it is election interference. It is violation of state election law, which gets violated all the time. We saw that in 2020. Josh Shapiro. Clumsy early voting option has backed up election offices and frustrated voters. The new procedure in Pennsylvania is leading to hours-long lines as voters swamp county offices that are not prepared to handle the influx before Election Day. A clumsy and time-consuming early voting option in the nation's biggest presidential battleground is creating frustration, leading to hours-long lines and prompting claims of disenfranchisement as voters swamp county offices are not prepared to handle the influx. The confusion is partly a result of Pennsylvania's law passed just before the pandemic and partly from crowds of Republican voters heeding calls by their party and former President Trump to vote early. Trump's entreaties to his supporters to cast ballots before November 5th come after he repeatedly attacked forms of early voting in previous elections. Yep, in the seat of suburban Philadelphia, Bucks County, often seen as a political bellwether, voters waited for up to 3 hours on Tuesday, the final day to apply for the mail ballot. Why the change from 4 years ago when relatively few voters tried to apply for the vote? Because he told us to vote early. Just trying to make it too big to rig, says Marlene Burns. The early voting angst is the latest dust up over voting in Pennsylvania. Yep. So there you go. That's what it really is all about. But the mainstream media won't report that. That was reported by a local PBS station, not by the national media. Bucks County reopens. On-demand voting. What you need to know and how long it can take. Yep, Bucks County voters now have until Friday, so not Thursday, Friday to complete their I thought it was Friday, to complete their on-demand voting process after a lawsuit filed by the Trump campaign. The original deadline was set for Tuesday, but then they shut the line down, violating people's constitutional right to vote. And so NBC News, owned by Comcast, runs bullshit headline saying that Trump and his allies ramp up election fraud allegations in Pennsylvania. No, election fraud is occurring in Pennsylvania. They're simply they're demanding that it not occur. Yep. Donald Trump and his allies are seizing on routine election processes as signs of fraud in the critical battleground states of Pennsylvania, amplifying allegations, videos, and litigation around purported voting regulators, even as election officials push back. Ramping up. They're not ramping up anything. The Trump campaign had nothing to do with a Democratic-funded group getting people of color registered to submit 60% fraudulent voter registration applications on the last day to submit them in Lancaster County. Trump campaign had nothing to do with it. Trump campaign had nothing to do with the same thing occurring here in York County, Pennsylvania. Trump campaign had nothing to do with election officials in Bucks County and Doylestown shutting down the line 3 hours and 15 minutes before the closure of the election office because they were tired and frustrated. Yeah. Yep. Well, Joe Rogan has rejected Kamala Harris's demands, and good for him. For one time, I agree with Joe Rogan. He says he's not going to submit to her terms. Rogan says Kamala Harris's campaign had requirements for a podcast interview that he didn't want. He had to leave Austin, Texas for a site of her choice. For the record, the Harris campaign has not passed on doing the podcast. They offered a date for Tuesday, but I would have had to travel to her, and they only wanted to do an hour. I strongly feel the best way to do this is a studio in Austin. My sincere wish is just to have a nice conversation, get to know her as a human being. I really hope we can make that happen. I don't want to get to know her as a human being. I think she's a reprobate. She's an evil person who's never accomplished anything in their life and skated on the back of taxpayers for decades. Well, Michigan voters are split even between Harris and Trump, according to the polls. Battleground Michigan remains a toss-up in the early elections final week, with voters almost evenly divided between supporting Vice President Harris and former President Donald Trump. Well, we'll see what happens in Michigan. Trump can afford to lose Michigan, but he should get it. He needs it. So the New York Times says inflation is basically back to normal. Why do voters still feel blah? Well, you dumbasses, because the prices are double and triple we paid for them. The case of Coke that I buy from Mexico used to cost $17. Now it's $35.49. What has changed? My check hasn't doubled, but my bill has doubled. My electric bill, it's under control now because I got solar panels, which I didn't have to pay for. That was a good deal. What a scam that was. But everything. Petrol still costs more. Still paying $3 a gallon for petrol that cost me $1.80 a gallon when Trump was in office. Why are people feeling blah? Because inflation has robbed us of our wealth, robbed us of our income, pushed us into penury, pushed people into desperate modes, people selling plasma. Some people turning to prostitution to make their needs. Unbelievable. Dumbass New York Times. Consumers still give the economy poor marks because it's poor. Until those prices come back down to match our income that we have, we are living a poorer life. Our standard of living, our quality of life has dropped. The only thing I can see the prices haven't gone up are big screen TVs, LEDs, tires, pretty much the same. Everything else, food, fuel, services, through the roof. Who cares if inflation is 1.2% now? You've already risen in price 140%. We're screwed. My homeowner's insurance cost me $600 a year. Now it's $1,800. I've never made a claim. The value of my house has not tripled in that time, but the cost of my insurance has tripled. Unbelievable. Morons. New York Times. These people don't get it. The dingy gray lady of journalism. They have no idea what's going on in the country. So why the right thinks they're running away with the race? I've been talking about us. Maybe we've been getting punked. I've been asking that question for about 2 weeks as the enthusiasm for Trump has really reached a fever pitch and the interest for Kamala Harris is kind of like this. And I keep asking, are we getting punked? Well, the New York Times is saying the same thing. Skewed polls and anonymous betting markets are building up Republicans' expectations. Donald Trump could use that to challenge the result. So they're acting as if Trump's going to lose, and they're saying that all this stuff is why he's going to dispute the election. The torrent of polls began arriving just a few weeks ago, one after the other, most showing a victory for Trump. They stood out amidst hundreds of others indicating a dead heat, but they had something in common. They were commissioned by right-leaning groups with a vested interest in promoting Republican strength. Oh, dear God. The New York Times, desperate. In the final days, Democrats are now courting Native Americans. They discovered that we have Indians in America. The Democrats didn't know that for the last 50 years. They got their vote, but they just ignored them. Donald Trump, we've seen the Navajos for Trump, but look at this. Vice presidential candidate's weekend trip to the country's biggest reservation came as Democrats. So they won't send Kamala, but they'll send stolen valor Timmy Waltz to visit the Navajo. Wow, Democrats are making a final push to gain support of Native Americans. 1% of Americans are Native Americans, about 3 million of them total, folks. Yes, but they make up 5% of the population in Arizona, so it matters. Standing in front of Window Rock, the namesake sandstone formation of the Navajo Nation capital, Timmy Waltz, wearing a beaded turquoise necklace, promised Vice President Kamala Harris would show more respect for tribal communities than Donald Trump. But the problem is that is not how Native Americans see things. So we cannot be doomed again, said Myron Lizer, a Republican and former vice president of the Navajo Nation, as he protested at the event. Our people have been voting Democrat for over 5 decades and nothing's changed. Native Americans make up just over 1% of the U.S. population, but they're about 5% of Arizona's population. While Biden is no longer seeking re-election, his legacy looms large in the push for Native votes. Of course, he tapped Debbie Haaland to serve as Interior Secretary, and she was a total disaster, a Native American. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the Native American vote, if it has an impact. Well, folks, you might be curious about when the polls close in America. So on election night, I'll be judged, just giving you the heads up now for next week. I will not be broadcasting during the day on the 5th of November because it will interfere with my duties as judge of elections until I turn the votes in and then skedaddle back to my home, which will take 45 minutes to get back. So I expect to be broadcasting at 11:45 or midnight on election night and tell you analysis of what happened during the day. All right? So it should be interesting. I'm going to take my laptop this time and see if I can't get connected and look at results. Anyway, but yeah. When the polls open and close in each state. So here you go. I'm going to show you when the polls, this is a graph in color and it's pretty good. So it shows you the closing times for the polls because it matters. We have 3 time zones in America, 4 actually. So here you go. Here's the polls. And you can see when the polls begin to close. The earliest polls are closing in New England, and they close at 7 p.m. Eastern in New Hampshire and in Vermont. In Virginia, 7 p.m. Eastern. South Carolina, 7 Eastern. Georgia, 7 Eastern, and 7 Eastern. Part of Kentucky closed at 7 Eastern, and part of it closed at 6 Eastern. Indiana closes 6 Eastern, and Ohio closes at 7:30. All right? So there. Then you got Maine, which closes at 8, which is an outlier on the East Coast. You've got Massachusetts, got 8 p.m., and Connecticut, 8 p.m. as well, Rhode Island. So those are outliers. Michigan closes at 8 p.m. Eastern, Illinois, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then you've got Arkansas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Part of Texas over here in the Panhandle closes at 9 Eastern, these western counties. But the rest closes at 8. Then you start picking up 9 in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska. Parts of South Dakota are at 8 and 9. Same in North Dakota. All of Colorado closes at 9. Or Wyoming closes at 9. Colorado closes at 9. New Mexico at 9. Arizona at 9. Utah at 10. Nevada at 10. Most of Idaho at 10, but part of it at 11. All of Montana at 10. And then the West Coast all at 11 p.m. Hawaii closes at midnight. Or Alaska closes at midnight. And Hawaii closes at midnight. So by midnight, when I get home, all the polls will be closed. So midnight Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. South African, although I think it'll be 7 a.m. because we jumped forward this week. 7 a.m. South African time, every poll will be closed in America. We won't have results from those states immediately, but they'll all be closed by 7 a.m. your time. There you have it, folks. Erica's taking off again. Okay, all right. All right, so that's when the polls open and close. 95 people currently are at 105, 87 likes. Got some good super chat money on the final day of the month. The last gasp, the last chance to get super chats. The last chance to beg for money. E-begging. Or whatever you want to call it. I'm actually hungry, folks. I need to get some food. All right, let me go to the chat and see where we left off at here. Quite a ways back. Okay, I got the one from Brett. And then after Brett, Jamaica's ties to African countries more than most Caribbean nations. Yeah, that's true. Rocket Man, a fiddling for all the dope-smoking hippie Rasta of Jamaica is wildly violent. Yep. Bail. What the? Okay, yep, got bail. Okay. DA are allowing Ukrainian mafia to visit South Africa visa-free, says Jonathan. Or some of these men. No, they're not the Ukrainian mafia. It's Ukrainian diplomats and officials. Where are you getting the mafia from? These are government officials. Oops, my tab class. Restore the tab. My tab crashed. What's that all about? Let me take a look at something here and see if my temperature is going crazy here. Where is the... What's that? That's a new thing. I've never seen that before. Oh, that's why. I never opened that. I never closed it. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the temperature to make sure we're not overheating here. Oh, no, I'm not overheating, so I wonder why the tab crashed. When my computer was overheating, I had tab crashing, but that's not been the case today. Erica just gave us she's back. Erica's back. 70 Rand. Will Erica get the last super chat of the month? I don't know. All right. Cruel World, the internet. Okay, what's this? The internet has allowed us to witness these vermin. Yeah. And is there another one? African Idiot gave another super chat. Whoa, one more. Oh, African Idiot shooting for that last super chat, trying to come in there. Oh, come on. Now we got it going now. Brett got it started. Eric added to it. African Idiot, here's your chance. Supplies can just rent a room, drink champagne while monitoring the Chinese Navy. Yeah, there you go. Brett's got to go. Thank you. He left a while ago. Well, those islands that they made are in very ecologically unsafe spots. And if, in fact, the glaciers melt and the oceans rise, they're all going to be underwater, those Chinese islands. The world is not flat. No, it's not. I'm sad to say. Putin loves Xi, and Xi has ties to China. Ukrainians have gained ground in Russia proper. But that's not what the story was about. That's probably true, but that's in the Northeast. Okay, and Pork Leaker became a member. Thank you for that. I'm happy to join. Was meaning to get around to it. Thank you, Pork Leaker. Is it true that Tom Robinson has been jailed? He's been sentenced. I don't know if he's been jailed. All right. So good. That was a brilliant stunt. Oh, yeah, with the garbage truck. And here's another super chat coming in. Erica, 35. And Erica's trying to be last really hard. Leovin just gave a 70 Rand super chat. Ooh, got to get in there. Way to go, Leovin. I'm loving it. It's like McDonald's, man. I could be like Trump. I could work at McDonald's and be a garbage man. This is the bait by Elon. He's bringing attention to billionaires dumping money in elections like Zuckerberg. So any act to take him will affect all contemporaries. It's shrewd. No, I think it is clever. I save that image because if the numbers add up, we know they stole it. Yep, exactly, Pork Leaker. Won the race. That is funny. Yep. We haven't even had the election yet. Honestly, I was uncertain of this intention since 2016. I clearly see now. Cue the song. I can see clearly now. It says bystander. Yep. What psych reflection? Biden and criminals treat well over 50% of Americans like garbage. Spot on, Mike. Spot on. Keith says, I wonder if Trump has had 20 or more trucks signed. He should do that. Trump should start a sanitation company. That's what he should do. Honestly. He should put his son on this and start a sanitation company right now. He poured $200 million into it, buying trucks and picking up trash in Democratic neighborhoods. The Trump sanitation company can pick up the trash in San Francisco. Oh my gosh, you want to talk about trolling? And they make a fortune. Scientist says Kamala's going to win it with the mail-in ballots. We'll see. Oh, my goodness. Mail-in ballots is backdoor to fraud. Yep, Shapiro's a puppetosaurus. Yes, he is. Should be impeached or removed. Agree. Yep. All right. So, saw that video. Filthy cheaters. Exactly, Pork League. Early voting, not a loophole, and being open to discrepancies. I dropped my mail-in ballot inside a secure courthouse. No arsonist getting in there. Yeah, well, there you go. Bystander light rain. And Charles jumps in with 14 Rand. Let's go, Trumpster. All right. Boy, we got one more in there. People trying to be the last one. Why is there early voting occurring? What are these we call special votes in South Africa? Jenkins, not quite. So early voting is being allowed because the Democrats have used lawsuits to undermine our election system in the 50 states and 4 territories dating back to 2017. They had accomplices in the Republican Party who made it happen. In fact, Pennsylvania, both the House and Senate at the time were controlled by Republicans. They produced this bill which allowed for mail-in balloting and early voting, which people didn't realize, but it was there all along. And so Act 77 was passed in October of 2019, signed by the Democratic Governor Tom Wolf, and then used to influence the events of 2020. Yeah, it's dumb. It's a stupid idea, but they do it. Almost forgot my pocket knife before going through the metal detector. Oh, when you turn in your ballot. Yeah, I don't do early balloting. I vote election day, and I have no option. Well, I have an option, but it makes no sense because I'm actually at the polling station from 6 a.m. until 10 o'clock at night. Antifa's still around, Jonathan. They will make themselves heard once Trump wins this election, as will Black Lives Matter, and a host of other fraudulent organizations will be on the streets burning and looting and attacking Americans just as soon as Trump is declared the winner. So stand by. You'll hear about Antifa soon. Jenkins, did I answer your question? All liars. There will be no reversal stops. More delays. Expect court delays. They will pull all the stops that cause controversy to block Trump victory. Exactly. Joe Rife says, give me one more reason why a person can vote for Kamala beats me. I don't have any reason why they can vote for Kamala. Oh, and there's another super chat. His 10th super chat from the African Idiot, man. 140 Rand. Oh, yeah. There you go. Good stuff, man. They're telling me now is the time to put an ad in. I'm going to put an ad in. Let's see how many people get the ad. You ready for this? Okay, I'm putting the ad in right now. I wonder if anybody got it. So I'm going to put a poll and say, did you get that ad? Did you just get an ad? Did you just get an ad? Did you just get an ad? I'm testing a system here. I'll bet you did. You probably got a political ad if you're in America. If Mike probably got a political ad for Kamala Harris or something. Okay, just get an ad. Okay, so there's reports that the incendiary, try it again and need to head into the bank. Will support and follow until then. Looking forward to donating. We appreciate your coverage. Well, you can donate on if you have a PayPal account. I do have PayPal, and I'm happy to get money there. It helps out. And I get more. PayPal doesn't take 30%. They take a couple percent. So I get much more if you do PayPal. But thank you, bystander, for your support. Thank you, African Idiot. Still need a picture of the famous steamed crabs. I have shown that before. Let me see if I've got one handy. I don't know if I do. Dallas. In fact, you reminded me I got to get crabs tomorrow. Dallas. Let me see. Crabs. Let me see. Oh, there's another one from Charles. Okay. Charles is taking the poor man's way in here. No, it's not there. So I've got a picture somewhere. Charles, I wonder if I've deleted that from, because when Ernst Lutz and Ernst von Sale were here, I took a picture of the crabs we had. I don't know if I've taken my pictures off my phone since then. That was in August. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like I took my pictures off. Let me see how far. It says 537. Yeah, come on. And there's another super chat by Mike. Ooh, $20. Ooh, for the cause. Look at that. It's his third super chat. Look, people are coming through now. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, it looks like I probably took that off. Yeah, these are more recent photos. So I took it off my phone to clean up because I didn't have space, but it should be on my computer. That's going to be on this drive. Let me see. I want to find the crabs real quick, and you've got to do the super chat if I do the crabs. Okay, so where the hell are you at? Come on, there it is. 2024. The crabs would have been in August. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, this might take a moment. There's nothing there. Was it July when they were here? I thought it was August. And another super chat. This one by Pork Leaker. Wow, man. Canadian dollars. Ooh, you've exposed yourself, brother. Now we know you're in Canada. Or at least you have a bank account there. All right. This is not here. Where are the... Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you a picture of... This is the steamed crabs. Well, that's not much. I can't get much of the crabs. Let me see. This is a better one. Come on. Come on. Where you at? There we go. Here we go. This is Ernst von Sale and Ernst Rutz eating steamed crabs in... I don't want to edit my images. Stupid thing. This is them. Let me get this PayPal off the screen. This is them eating steamed crabs in Annapolis when they visited in August or July. Here it is. Check it out. There you go. Steamed crabs right there on the table. Now, Maryland blue crabs are actually blue. They have blue and green. It's beautiful blue on their claws and around the edges of their shells until they're steamed. They turn red when they're steamed. There's Ansel Rhodes picking apart a crab right there. There you go. That was an interesting day. Pretty cool. Anyway, that was the guys from AfriForum. That was, we did that back in July. For some reason, I was thinking it was August, but apparently it was July. Yeah, it was July. Okay. What day was that? That was the 14th. Oh, that was Bastille Day. All right. So, you keep the White Army going. Well, we got more chats coming in. Look, if a few more people donate, we'll hit triple figures for super chat revenue today. And I'm not talking about Polish zloty, but dollars. That'd be pretty cool because this has been a pretty sad month when it comes to revenue. So this would be the last day of the month and would, let me see how it would make us look for the month compared to last month. Well, if we get a few more bucks in there for super chats, we will be not as good as last month, but not bad. Not bad. So, wow, that's pretty cool. All right, so thank you all for the super chat so far. Pork Leaker gave a Canadian super chat. Can I give a like to that? No, can't do it there. Okay. Today, ads were both full running from start to finish, about 1.5 minutes. All right, nice photo. Yep, Canada with Trudeau. U.S. is just over there. I can... You can take the boat to New York. Okay. Are you in Ontario? All right, so I missed the AfriForum SMSs. You're not getting your SMSs. Yeah, they are. Look, those steam crabs are, and sometimes if they're boiled too long, the ones on the bottom don't come out quite right, but they're fine to eat. They just, it's a little soggy. Still the same. I feel bad when I view a channel I enjoy. Why is that? What's that? So, ad blocker did not get the ad. That's fine. You didn't get the ad inside the video? That's strange. That's a really good ad blocker. I get it if it blocks it appearing on the page because it shuts down those things appearing on your page. I have that, so when I go to news sites, I'm not bombarded by ads. But you should still get the ad inside the video. That's interesting. All right. PayPal, I need to finalize mentioned before. Okay, no worries. Thank you, bystander. And what did I miss here? Let me go back to the super chats. I don't miss them. We got a bunch of them that came in here in just a fast and furious. Erica with 70, African Native with 140, Erica with 35, Levin with 70, Charles Van Onsen came with 14, Erica come back with 35, try again. African Idiot says, still need a picture of the crab. You did give a super chat. You got a picture of the crabs. 140. I had a better picture of I've got pictures when I eat them because they look really tasty. Just a picture of them. And then Charles said this is an ad to boost the money. 14. Mike came with a $20 super chat. That was awesome. Pork Leaker with $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you for that. Erica just did another 35 rand. Erica is pouring on. Erica, don't do that. You got to pay for expensive, fancy wheelchairs. Be careful with your money there. Anyway, we're dropped to 71 people. Is somebody else online right now? Why is people just leaving? Hang on a second here. Let me look and see if somebody else is online. It's not Big Daddy Liberty. He's not broadcasting anymore. All Vena Dutoy is live for members only. Okay. All right. Steve Bannon's got a press conference. No one else is on. Maybe they went to watch Vena. Ooh, they're showing me some shorts from Chica's. What I eat in a day. An all-inclusive resort. Okay. Southern girl teaches best self-defense. Oh my goodness. What's her name from the UK there? She's too funny. Anyway, all right. These are just all sexual innuendo, man. Wow. What the heck is going on here? These are all sexual innuendo videos being recommended to me. Hendo came in with £5. Oh, we're so close, folks. Just $1.21 from Triple Figures with Hendo's Super Chat. Maybe this helps. Thank you for the £5, Hendo. I'm apparently behind chat, but I haven't seen an ad. No blocker. Okay. All right, Light Rain. Well, not everybody gets it. That's why I was just testing. It says, I have a button I can insert an ad at any time. And on Ronaldo's streams, now that he's a poor, unemployed former member of government, I get inundated with ads. And I don't know if he just turned them on his live streams because he didn't used to have them, or he's pushing the button all the time. I'm just curious. We're testing out. Cannot be selective channels regarding ad blocks. The Crab Man. Hey, Al, my 5 pence. How you doing there? By the way, folks, for those who don't know, I was 3 minutes late to this broadcast because of a connectivity issue on the other end. I was in a conversation with Brickmacka. We were talking about the Boer Nation, and hence the reason I put on my Sightlanders shirt. But we were talking about the Boer Nation, about America, and other things. And that ran for about an hour and a half, and we got started late because his connection was not working. So we did that. It'll appear on his channel. I don't know when, but I did do the conversation. Many people asked me to have a conversation with him. I had one. That gentleman's 73 years old. I had no idea he was 73. He doesn't look 73. He carries it very well. All right, so most people did not get the ad. See, only a handful of people got it. So YouTube is very selective. So 18% of 33 votes, that would be 1 in 5. That means about 15 people got an ad. Cool. All right, well, that's more than I expected. All right. Reports of incendiary device used to burn a ballot box had remnants of a Free Palestine sticker. Yeah, no, I saw that in later reports. It wasn't an initial one. There is, my 5 pence's membership. Thank you for your membership for 21 months. Looking good in this shirt. Well, thank you on my 5 pence. I figured you'd appreciate this shirt. Joe Rafferty says, give me one more reason why a person can vote for Kamala. I haven't got any reasons. Erica says she disabled a lot of challenges or refused to vote via special votes, so vote on voting day. Good for you. Botswana's elections, please. Pablo Charlie, let me take a look and see if there's any news. There was no news on the election. I've been looking, scouring everything. So let's look for Botswana elections again. Okay. And no. Nothing. I want the latest, not the top. So let's go to latest. Early reports suggest it will certainly be a close election. Okay. Who's winning? Who's at stake? There's nothing here. Vote counting's underway. That was 8 hours ago. Yeah, so we have no information yet. No information yet. So we'll see. I keep following it. So, by the way, this is the woman, Griswold. She looks like a Griswold, who screwed up the passwords in Colorado, exposing the passwords to the voting machines to the public and undermining Colorado's vote. That is it Jenny Griswold? She's the Secretary of State. She's also the person who illegitimately sought to remove Donald Trump from the presidential ballot. So the fix is in Colorado for sure. This woman should be impeached or removed from office because she's incompetent. And she refused to resign despite her incompetence. Just arrogant ass Democrats. They really are so arrogant, folks. I mean, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, I already got a picture of her with that goofy face. Can you imagine looking at that every day? Oof. Scary person. Have you seen RFK on Muscle Beach? He's a beast. I have not. Crazy eyes. She does have crazy eyes. They're pretty blue, but they're crazy eyes. She needs to sit in the corner with a hat on. Yeah, dunce. I agree. Stop straining your eyes, Colonel. ISS on high alert due to a leak. The International Space Station has got a leak? Ooh. Wow. ISS leak. Let's see. The International Space Station deemed top safety risk. Wow. Okay. Shocking photos show how decaying ISS has been leaking and cracking. That's stuff from 2 days from the Daily Mail from 2 days ago. For years. Wow. From holes in a robotic arm to cracks in the window, astronauts have been complaining about the state of the International Space Station for years. NASA report this week admitted that there are 50 areas of concern and 4 cracks that could lead to emergency evacuation due to leaking oxygen. They learned the issue stemmed from one leak which reached its fastest growth rate yet in April this year. Wow. So let's take a look at these issues. Arm was struck by space debris in 2021, creating a hole that fortunately did not impact the functionality of the arm. Yep. There you go. There's damage. Wow. That's a chip, 7 meter in diameter, gouged out from a tiny piece of space debris. Wow. The $100 billion International Space Station sits 250 miles above the Earth. Wow. Well, that's scary. Let's hope they don't have to evacuate. Ben Labascockney says, did you see podcast news after today regarding taxi association security vehicles harassing and forcing private cars off the road? I did not see that. I heard someone mentioning it, but I had not seen it. LMI5 Pence says the Trump team is suing for Bucks County. They did sue and they won the case. I covered that. On Harris's terms. Good job by Joe Rogan. Yep, agreed. Don't need to hear another. Don't ever need to hear her voice again. Well, you see, let me be perfectly clear. I was raised in a middle-class family. Let's get started with this. God, she's so annoying. Vance and Rogan. I didn't know he was going to be on, or he was on there. Okay, Kamala. I don't watch the Joe Rogan podcast. Kamala not able to do a 3-hour interview. No, she can't do a 3-minute interview, let alone 3 hours. Show some legs, says Dylan. Give me a super chat. I see odds 1-54 for Trump to take it. I think it's a steal. Big screen TVs are what are mocking birds singing through. What? Price has not gone up. No, they haven't. 4 tires in the USA already cost $2,500. What kind of tires are you buying, Light Rain? My tires for my performance, they're not Michelin's. I didn't get Michelin's. I got all-season performance for high speed for my Chrysler 200. 15-inch wheels were, I think, total $700 for the tires and the installation and the balancing. For my truck, they were more expensive. They cost me $1,200, and then the people installed them screwed it up. I had to pay to get them remounted elsewhere, and it wound up costing me a total of $1,800 to get tires on my truck, my SUV, but not $2,500. But they only should have cost $1,200. They were supposed to rebate, which they never sent to me. Cheating bastards they sold me the things from Goodyear. I was supposed to get $200 rebate, never got it. Anyway, stop complaining, start winning for goodness sake. What are you talking about, man? Who's complaining, Pablo Charlie? I'm reporting and analyzing. I'm not complaining. Okay. I wonder if what's this? Harris supporters. Chris, my new wheelchair will allow me to visit the Penguins. That's cool. Yeah, Boulders, man. Here are the Penguins from Boulders. So this is pretty cool. There you go. It's a nice T-shirt. I didn't wear it till this week, but I bought it ages ago. That's when I did that video, which appears in my opening credits. I was on Boulders. That's a pretty cool place to go watch it. But you get American tourists who are so annoying. I was recording video there, and they came and interrupted me while I was recording, and they just showed up. I mean, I just started recording, like, could you get out of the way? I'm like, could you fuck off? I didn't say that, but I wanted to say it. Vilma didn't get any ads. Okay. Have you seen? No, I haven't seen that. She needs to sit in the corner with a hat on. Can you view laptop mobile viewership on your analytics? I don't think so, bystander. Let me see. Let me go to analytics and see what it gives me for audience. Okay. Tells me when the viewers are on, subscriber bell notification, which is down. It's only 7% of people. It used to be much higher. Watch time from subscribers, that's skewed the other direction now. It used to be 50-50. Now it's 69, 70% is from subscribers, so I'm not getting new people. Geography, South Africa, 75% of my viewers on this channel. Yep. It doesn't say, I think the other one, let me see, overview, maybe it's from there. Somewhere it does tell you some of these stats. Nope. Doesn't tell me that. Had a big drop off yesterday. Not many people watched. Just 2,000. 5,000 the day before and 5,000 the day before that, but just 2,000 yesterday. I'm looking to see content. Maybe it's there. I don't think it is. I can't find it. I know there's somewhere it says subscribers, views, published content, views across, notifications, how viewers got to you, but it doesn't say that whether it's a mobile or it's a computer or a laptop. Yeah, it doesn't show me that. But an interesting mix. 41.8% of my, 60% of my views come from videos. 34% come from the live stream. The thing I do for you guys every day. Only 34% of my viewers come from this. Most are coming from the videos I produce, which is interesting. I don't always produce videos because I'm busy sometimes. Just 5% come from the shorts. The shorts don't do a whole lot. Published content last 28 days. I did 30 live streams, 16 prepared videos. And those prepared videos provided 60% of my audience. So maybe I should do more prepared videos. That's interesting. All right. But I've gotten most of them. I haven't got many subscribers, about 160 in the past month. That's lame. That's what, 3 a day. But they're stealing subscribers. Yep. Anyway, so that's kind of that's what it tells me. Not a whole lot of information there. So anyway, right. Westworld robots. Westworld, interesting stuff. Let's see what else. Nothing is entering the space station. Okay. Leprechauns in suits. Joe Rogan stated that Cackles Harris had a whole lot of stipulations. Yes, I read that, Charles. Before she would do an interview, he refused to negotiate. Good for him. Trump met his requirements. Save the leprechauns in penguin suits. Shaq's the light in Danoon, and we have wind. Oh, that's not good. Gabriel says, what is a good unbiased U.S. newspaper? I subscribe to New York Times, Washington Post. I find those leftists. So the Washington Examiner is considered right-wing, but I think they're not. They're pretty objective. The Washington Times is definitely a conservative publication. The New York Post is definitely a conservative publication. There aren't really many middle-of-the-road things anymore. You have to read them all and just be a critical thinker and pull things out. While I tend to like the stories the Washington Post covers, they tend to be things that coincide with my worldview, but not always. And that's why I read other things. So what rugby? On the weekend, I'm doing England and the All Blacks, and I'll probably do Scotland and Fiji. Both those broadcasts I've confirmed are on Peacock. I'll be able to watch them. So I will be doing but I've been waiting. In Germany, the Frankfurter Allgemeine is okay. Yes, but it's in German. Fosnet, I have an account there. So let me go. At least I did. Last time I was there, they would give me a hard time. So Fosnet. Let me see. Cancel. Here we go. So now it's giving me the abonnement. I don't want an abonnement. I already have a subscription, man. Stop this. Let me reload the page and try to sign into my account before login. It's telling me abonnement, but I have an abonnement. Einverstanden. Okay. Log in. I don't know my password, so it's been a while, so I'll just give a bogus one and log in with that. It's going to tell me I don't have it. It's taking a long time to check it, so Fosnet. Oh, yeah, Guten Tag, William Wyatt. Sie sind eingeloggt. Okay, cool. I am logged in. All right, so, well, there you go. I knew the password. Frankfurter Allgemeine. Auch die Autozulieferer sind im Not. Ooh, so the car suppliers are also in trouble here. Yeah, not just Volkswagen, Bosch. Die Autokrise schlägt voll durch. Nicht nur Größenhersteller müssen Kosten sparen, wieder wettbewerbsfähig zu werden. Auch die Zulieferer sind getroffen und Bauern Tausende Stellen ab. Wow. The auto crisis continues going. Not only is it the big producers of cars that have to save money, but it's also the side industries that produce parts for the industry that are in trouble. Wenn in diesen Tagen die Unternehmen ihre Geschäfte im dritten Quartal bilanzieren. Anyway, so there you go. So that's Fosnet. Not bad. It's the Frankfurter Allgemeine. I read the news there. Yep, media is captured, like Erica implied. Operation Mockingbird is still in effect under different names. It's a semi-moon tonight. All the Irish are suspiciously missing. Yep, so that's the rugby on the weekend. And we didn't hit triple figures for super chats. Do I have to super chat my own channel to break the... Yep, Deutsch. Oh, let me find that. Oh, where's that? So it's the... what do they call it? Oh, gosh, those guys. Oh. What is their name? What is their name? Oh, gosh bless it. That is not who I'm looking for. Oh, my goodness. I'm drawing a complete blank here. These are not who I'm looking for. From... what is her name? Seriously drawing a blank here. Oh my gosh. Wow. This sucks. Rababar. Yeah, that's not what I'm thinking of. That's not what I'm looking for. What the heck is their name here? Gosh, I'm going to think for a second here. Let me try this on YouTube. That might be a better way to do it. Gosh, bless it. Senior moments here, man. It's crazy. Is this it? Come on. Die Prinzen. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I couldn't think of Die Prinzen. Die Prinzen. Okay. Oh, geez, Die Prinzen. Deutschland lyrics. That's what I want. Die Prinzen Deutschland lyrics. Okay. God. Man, the senior moments are coming. Oh, my goodness. It's great stuff. Natürlich hat ein Deutscher Wetten das erfunden. Vielen Dank für die schönen Stunden. Wir sind die freundliche Kunden auf dieser Welt. Wir sind bescheiden, wir haben Geld. Die allerbesten in jedem Sport. Die Steuern hier sind Weltrekord. Bereisen Sie Deutschland und bleiben Sie hier. Auf diese Art von Besuchen warten wir. Es kann jeder hier wohnen, dem es gefällt. Wir sind das freundliche Volk auf dieser Welt. Deutsch. Und zwar, dass Schumacher keine Mercedes fährt. Nur eine Kleinigkeit ist hier verkehrt. Und zwar, dass Schumacher keinen Mercedes fährt. So, it says, of course, Germans found they discovered Bet that. Many thanks for the many beautiful hours. We are the friendliest customers in the world. We are ready. We have money. We're the best in every sport. The taxes here are world records. Come to Germany and stay here because we're waiting for you. Anyone can live here if it suits you. We are the friendliest people in the world. And they say German. And it says there's only one small problem, and that's that Schumacher doesn't drive a Mercedes. And then it goes, das alles ist Deutschland, das alles sind wir. Das gibt es nirgendwo anders, nur hier. Das alles ist Deutschland, das sind alles wir. Wir leben und wir sterben hier. Now, it gets it funnier too. This is one of the best songs ever. It's a diss on Germans by Germans, die Prinzen. Es bilden sich viele was auf Deutschland ein und manche findet es geil, ein Arschloch zu sein. Es gibt manchen, der sich gern über Kanaken beschwert und zum Ficken jedes Jahr nach Thailand fährt. Wir lieben unsere Autos mehr als unsere Frauen. Den deutschen Autos können wir vertrauen. Gott hat die Erde nur einmal geküsst, genau an dieser Stelle, wo jetzt Deutschland ist. Wir sind überall die Besten, natürlich auch im Bett und zu Hunden und Katzen besonders nett. This is the best lines. It says... We have such a great image of Germany, but some people find us to be assholes. I'm not going to say the next part, but they say that every year some fly to Thailand to have sex. We love our cars more than we love our wives, but that's because we can trust our cars. Wir lieben unsere Autos mehr als unsere Frauen. Den deutschen Autos können wir vertrauen. We love our cars more than wives because we can trust them. God has kissed the world in only one spot. Exactly where Germany's at. We are the best at everything, especially in bed. Of course, in bed too. But we love dogs and cats especially. Das alles ist Deutschland. That's everything. That's German. And that's us. There's nowhere else like this. Good God. Anyway, it's a great song. It's a great song. It's Deutschland by Die Prinzen. Wow. When did that come out? A long time ago. I wish I could play it, but we get a copyright strike for damn sure. Das alles ist Deutschland. Das alles sind wir. Es gibt es nirgendwo anders, nur hier, nur hier. Das alles ist Deutschland, das alles sind wir. Wir leben und wir sterben hier. Oh my goodness. It's good stuff. Amazing German is so productive, it's such a convoluted language. Yeah, it is, Light Rain. But it's a language you can do anything with. I'm watching reruns of Columbo. Oh, Columbo, I got every season on disc. Yep. You did mention Elon Musk sued. Did I miss it? You did. You did. He was sued by Larry Krasner. I talked about it extensively, bystander. You missed it earlier. The district attorney for Philadelphia filed a malicious, baseless lawsuit against Elon Musk. The judge determined that he must appear in court tomorrow in person. Elon Musk must go to Philadelphia to appear in court. Larry Krasner has no authority over what he's claiming happened. This is, if there's any violation of federal election law, no state law has been violated. Larry Krasner is claiming that Elon Musk is running a lottery illegally. He's not licensed to run a lottery in Pennsylvania, and therefore he's defrauding Pennsylvanians and specifically Philadelphians. Larry Krasner is an asshole. He's an Arschloch. Das soll sich in ein Eimer stecken und weg float down the river. Yeah, Larry Krasner is a fool. Die Prinzen epic like Die Bösen Onkels. Yeah. No, the Prinzen are fantastic. Nina Hagen, no, I was thinking of the Prinzen. Man, a senior could not think of the Prinzen. I've got their music. It's just awesome. Great stuff. Yeah. Anyway, wow. Good stuff. I remember, I'll never forget that I heard that, everything's perfect here. Is just one thing that's missing, and that's that Schumacher doesn't drive a Mercedes. I laughed my butt off when I heard that the first time. Yeah, Die Prinzen, they came out of the East right after the wall came down. They didn't actually leave the East. They were still from the East. I think they're from Brandenburg or maybe they're from Thüringen. I'm not sure. But funny guys. Let me see if I can get a picture of Die Prinzen. They have some great albums. I haven't heard anything from them in years. Prinzen. Die Prinzen, pop band. Okay. Yeah, here's a picture of the dudes. And they look like a... Oh, now they've really matured. Wow, they're all bald now. They're all bald now. Here they are. Here they are back in the heyday. That's Die Prinzen right there. Okay. Die Prinzen, deutsche Musikgruppe bei einem Promoshooting in Ulm, Deutschland, 1993. So that's 31 years ago. Okay. That was a promotional shot 31 years ago. And here's a more recent photo of them 31 years later. Here you go. They look a little bit different. Die Prinzen sind etwas grauer geworden. Ihre Songtexte sind immer noch frisch wie vor 30 Jahren. They're a bit grayer. They've become a bit grayer, but their lyrics are just as cheeky as they were 30 years ago. Also a little chubbier, too. That tends to happen as you get older. Die Prinzen. Okay, let me see if I can't find their... there's got to be a... Isn't there a Wikipedia? Well, it's in German, but I'll do my best to translate that. So, Die Prinzen. Okay, Die Prinzen ist eine Gruppe aus Leipzig. They're from Leipzig, okay. Mit fast 6 Millionen verkauften Tonträger gehören sie zu den erfolgreichsten deutschen Bands. With nearly 6 million albums sold, they're among the most successful German bands. Zu ihren bekanntesten Titeln zählen Gabi und Klaus, Millionär, Mann im Mond, Mein Fahrrad, Küssen verboten, alles nur geklaut, du musst ein Schwein sein. So viel Spaß für wenig Gold in Deutschland. So, Gabi and Klaus from 91, Millionaire from 91, that's when I first heard them. And Küssen verboten, that's a great, I got to do the lyrics for that one. Küssen verboten, I love that one. Küssen verboten. Yeah, Küssen verboten. Why is it doing that? Lyrics. There you go. Küssen verboten lyrics. Let's get that. Yeah, okay. Ja, du willst mich haben, denn du findest mich schön. Ich muss sagen, das kann ich gut verstehen. Du magst Geschenke und wachst bei mir ab. Und ich denke, dass ich gut bei dir hab. So, you want to have me and you find me lovely or beautiful. I have to say that I can understand that. You give me gifts and wake up alongside me, and I think that that's good to have you here. Anyway, it's just, you got to hear the song Küssen verboten. Küssen verboten, that was great. But Die Prinzen, let's get back to them. They are founded in 1987 as the Herzbuben. Okay, Herzbuben, Heart Boys. And they became the Princeton in 1991. That's when they had success. Yep. I don't know if they're still together. Let's see. 2010, 2020s. Yeah, they're still together. In December 2022, their Christmas single, Happy Christmas. The one from John Lennon they recorded. Yeah, they still putting out titles in 2021. Krone der Schöpfung. Yeah, and the charts, Das Leben ist Grausam hit number 5 in the German charts, 39 in Austria, 20 in Switzerland. Küssen verboten in 92 hit number 6. For 48 weeks, it was on the charts in Germany and didn't chart in Austria. 21 weeks in Switzerland. Alles nur geklaut in 93 hit number 4. And interesting, that's the other stuff never really hit big. But in 2021, their Krone der Schöpfung hit number 2 for 13 weeks. That's their most successful ever. And I'm not even hearing about them anymore. But die Küssen, yeah, they were funny. Küssen verboten, die Prinzen, man, good stuff. I don't know if I can get a little bit of a Deutschland. Die Deutschland, die Prinzen. Let me see if I can get a little bit of that playing here. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Can't let it play long though. Oh, I've got an ad here. Wait till the ad's over. All right, what else? Yep, that's the one. Good stuff. Herbert Grönemeyer. Oh, Herbert Grönemeyer. Tief im Westen, wo die Sonne verstaubt, ist es besser, viel besser als man glaubt. Tief im Westen. Yeah, Herbert Grönemeyer. Yeah, he was in Das Boot. Man, he was a musician. Herbert Grönemeyer rocks, man. Love Herbert Grönemeyer. Yeah. Careful, the German YouTube may flag you as an issue for their agenda. Stop it there for a few seconds, otherwise we'll get it. So that's how the song starts. I've never watched the video, and I've got the video here. I wonder what it's like. The 1 million perk for voting, but certain news outlets are now complaining about satellites polluting. Huh? Krasner, shades of Alvin Bragg. Oh, he's worse than Alvin Bragg. He is an evil person. Krasner is a piece of crap. You should have had a part in Inglourious Bastards. Charles says, ich liebe das Kanal. Ja, also unsere Sendung kommt heute aus Pennsylvania. Der große Punkt unserer Wahl nächste Woche hier in Pennsylvania. Yep. Okay. All right, I've yet to do it, but I'll share your channels on my Facebook. I'm sure you'll hit some good nerves. Your 285 friends. Well, I'll take all 285. And there's a super chat which might have pushed us over. I think that'll push us over to get to that level I was trying to get. All right. It did! Ronell! Would voter turnout not be better if voting days public? Yes, Ronell, that's what I said. Vivek Ramaswamy has stole my shtick. When he gave a speech at the Trump rally at Madison Square Garden, Vivek Ramaswamy said everything I've been saying for years. And on this program, voting, one day, national holiday, first Tuesday every November, no excuses, everybody's off. If you're physically incapable, if you're in a care facility, if you're military outside the state, if you're a business person traveling, you can apply for federal absentee ballot, and you can fill it out every time. Otherwise, you come to the polls. And guess what? You attach legal jeopardy with a 5-year felony conviction if you commit fraud by sending in that federal absentee ballot. That's how it should be done, and there's no question about it. Same day voting, one day, election day, the first Tuesday of every November, and it should be a federal holiday. Case closed. Case closed. Anyway, so that's that song. I'm going to try to play a little bit more because it's just, it really sucks you in. Deutsch. It's just awesome. What's this? Oh, there it is. How did it get messed up there? Here we go. Hey, Princeton, man. These guys rock. This is back in 1992, 93. I still have this CD. It's awesome, man. It's cool stuff.
Natürlich hat ein Deutscher Wetten das erfunden. Vielen Dank für die schönen Stunden. Wir sind die
Feindliche Volk auf der Welt. Voting is a public holiday in virtually every country around the world, except the United States. Trump is in New Mexico. He's supposed to go to New Mexico and Wisconsin and back to Pennsylvania. I think that's all today. I'm not sure. Ramaswamy did a full shift. I saw that. I'm going to pick up garbage. Not a holiday here either. Yeah, and Canada is just the same vein. It's like America North, except it's more socialist than us, thanks to Juicy Trudeau. There's no consequences for the Democratic frauds. I mean, look at Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett cost the Chicago Police Department over $500,000 in overtime cost. He stoked racial hatred across the country for a staged thing where he hired 2 Nigerians to beat him up. So he claimed that a couple bubbas. Hey, Earl. We got nothing to do down here in Alabama. Hey, I'll tell you what. Why don't we jump in our Ford and put our shotgun back here in the window? We'll drive up to Chicago, the Windy City. We gonna get one of them homosexuals up there, one of the famous actors that nobody ever heard of on some show that I don't even know about. Hey, Earl, what do you say? Should we go? Well, Larry, I think we should go to Chicago. Let's go get that fella. We're going to hang him. Yeah, we're going to teach him a lesson, boy. All right, let's get in our truck. We're going to drive. Hey, you got that Budweiser? Whoops. We're spinning. Did I get cut off here because I played music? I'm spinning here. I got nothing. Are we live? Did my channel just get shut off? Wow, what's with YouTube? No, my channel's still there, but my live isn't showing up. Did I get shut off by YouTube? Come on, man. It says I'm live, but the studio won't load. Oh, we're still live streaming. I can't see my studio. It's gone. Wow, can I watch the video at least? Let me see that. Let me go over there and see if I'm live on the video. I got a Kamala Harris ad.
While Trump cuts taxes for billionaires, Kamala Harris will cut them for you.
Trump cut my taxes. I'm not a billionaire. They're liars.
I chose mounts because the moment
because I'm buying jewelry for my loved one. Mounts, 45 years, good jewelry. Okay, well, why am I on my studio load, man? What's going on with that? There we go. I'm live, but I would never know it. Except y'all told me. Thank you very much. So we're going to Chicago. We're going to check on that Juicy Smollett. Hey, come here, boy. Hey, I know it's 20 degrees below freezing out here, but that's okay. We're out here in our shorts and our cowboy hats from Alabama. You know, there's no cowboys in Alabama, but that works for this skit. Anyway, come here, boy. Come here. We're going to hang you. That's right. We're going to hang you here in Chicago because we know there's lots of those homosexuals in this here neighborhood because we've never been here, but here we are now, and we're here to hang you. That's right. We're going to beat you up first, though. Yeah. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Oh, dear God. Seriously? Juicy Smollett? I mean, the guy said that 2 white dudes in MAGA hats came to Chicago with southern accents, these white guys, and they beat me up. And then they threatened to hang me with a noose. And they kept the noose. He took it to his house. This was believable? Oh my gosh. Oh, my 5 pence left. Oh, did we scare him off? Sorry about that on my 5 pence. Boy, sorry to see you go, man. What's going on there? Let me see if I can load my studio up again. That is weird. My studio will not, it just died and it won't load. All right, here it comes. Okay. Oh, man, I'm down to 50 viewers. I must have scared people off with that accent. Sorry about that. I can turn this off now that it's back. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry to scare people off, man. Only steers and queers. I don't see any steers here. Information overload since 2020. No wonder we're loopy. Yeah, exactly, bystander. The dead of night, in a snowstorm, rednecks recognized an unknown gay actor. Exactly, Light Rain! Exactly! Those rednecks came all the way to Chicago in a sub-zero night, driving through an upscale neighborhood where only white folks live because it's systemically racist in America, and ain't no black folks living there because the black folks got no agency, they got no ID cards, they can't vote. It's like Fred Sanford. I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming. And Juicy Smollett was attacked by some rednecks wearing MAGA hats. Oh, yeah, that's believable. Remember Chicago? Remember Chicago when Trump had his rally there? They're still lying about it. At the rally, they said Trump supporters beat up the demonstrators outside. No. Lie. Innocent people walking to the Trump rally were assaulted by the leftists on the street. And then they lied about it. Of course, oh, this is the good one. Oh, here we go. Here. I'm standing here in front of a mostly peaceful protest in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Dude, the cars are on fire behind you. What the hell are you talking about a mostly peaceful protest? Are you brain dead? Come on, son, get it together. I say, boy, you better get it together. Whoo, foghorn leghorn. I'm telling you, I say, give me a break, man. Seriously, a mostly peaceful protest? Good Lord. Or what about the racist who gunned down and ran over 75 people in that Christmas parade? Where is the systemically racist attacks against majority Americans being talked about? Killing old ladies and children, crippling people, breaking them apart, driving his SUV down the street. No discussion about that. Rampant racism from that racist. My goodness. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Because I'm not leaving on a jet plane. I'm sitting right here in central Pennsylvania, the epicenter of the 2024 elections, right here. We are America's voice. Will we be heard or will it be stolen? Ooh, boy, I'll tell you. This is the place. This is the time. This is the moment. History being made right here in Pennsylvania as I speak. People mailing in their bogus system of mail-in ballots and real voters showing up on election day. Next week on Tuesday. This is the place. Same bat channel, same bat time. Tuesday, November 5th, right here. Right here. Colin just went live. He said, nice chat with Chris. Thank you, Monray. Cool. Chris spouting passion like no one. Respect. Well, thank you for that. Wish more people would see it. I'm trying to get to my Tugela hat, but it's too damn far away. I tossed it over in the corner. Give the man more Frappuccinos. Well, with the super chats that came in today, I'll be able to buy a Frappuccino. Faraday Schultz is back saying, good evening. Welcome to Lekker Braai Music. Welcome, Faraday. What is your Lekker Braai Music, man? For me, Lekker Braai Music is this. I love this. This is, well, you've got, we've got a couple of really good songs, but I always forget this. Okay, so it's going to be Derek and, what's his name? Bobby. Derek and Bobby, yeah. Bobby van der Westhuizen, yeah. I love this song. Yeah, it is. Das wat uns will he. Well, I love this. I'm getting an ad here. Waiting for the ad. Oh, there's no ad. All right, I love this song. But we don't want to get the note for note. We don't want to get shut down like we did before. Philip van Niekerk has to run. Okay, sorry to see you go. Thanks for your hate crime hoaxes should have the exact same punishment. Agreed, Light Rain. Just like false rape allegations should carry the same penalty, or a severe penalty at least. At least a severe penalty. Maybe not the same one, but at least a severe one. I love that song. I really like the video. Rains of Africa. No, I don't know that. Okay. All right. My goodness, we've been at this for over 2 hours. I didn't realize it'd been that long. We're having such a good time here. I haven't seen this funny side of yours in ages. Well, I've been busy. Gotta go eat. Everybody's leaving. Ooh, yeah. Bourgeoisie. What's Giuseppe saying? You're not leaving? Or you don't like the Bourgeoisie? Anyway, I like that video. Anyway, we're down to 49. And Freddie Schultz is giving a $39.99 super chat. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right. Ouch. Oh, yo, yummy, says Charles. Yeah, birds in the background. There you go, Hendo. That's a good description. Oh, look at Hendo. Look at the colored Hendo. Slides right on into the British vernacular. It's the birds in the background. Yeah, that's what the birds. This bird was chatting me up last night. I was at the pub and this bird was chatting me up for hours. Yeah, I'd have said something, but I didn't find it all that interesting. Philip says, great live. Thanks, Philip. Thanks for being here. Yeah. All right, duty calls. Yeah, I think it's probably time to wrap it up, folks. We're over 100 likes. We've got some nice super chat revenue came in. We got 1 new membership. Thank you for that. And we're on a glide path going down here since we peaked at, where did we peak at? 111. Everybody disappeared since then. All right, we're down to 42, so we lost 2/3 our audience, or almost half. Anyway, I need Afrikaans Meise, good people and ethics. I'm younger than you think. Okay, bystander, cool beans. I'm probably older than you think. So anyway, you're all very welcome. Have a good night. We'll catch you tomorrow, Friday. And don't forget, we do have rugby and rugby set this weekend. England and New Zealand. I'll be covering that game, as well as Scotland and Fiji. And, I don't like New Zealand, but I'll be rooting for England, even though I hate England. Just never the All Blacks. Anyway. And then I'll be rooting, of course, for Scotland. All right, folks, take care. Be safe. I'm starving, and I've got a commitment here in a few hours I got to go to, which I didn't want to do. I got to do it. All right, here we go. Cheers. Catch you later. Bye-bye. Oh, that's the wrong ones.